Hail and Hail and well met and welcome, one and all, to Severed Threads Notes from the Black Ballad. It has been a fun ride, but here we are now at the end, or at least at the end of this section of the Black Ballad. It is a long campaign going from levels 10 potentially all the way to level 20, and the group here has just reached level 11. So there's plenty more to play, but this is the end of our little piece of it. Hope you have enjoyed it. Many thanks to Storytellers Forge, the writers and producers of this fantastic module. They have lots of cool things going on, including a backer kit campaign, which is in progress right now. You should definitely check that out. Links to both the Discord of Storytellers Forge and that backer kit link, all that is in the chat right now. Please check them out. They're trying to get together funds for some cool books that will take place in this world, dealing with the same things that these intrepid adventurers have been dealing with for the past several sessions. So you won't want to miss that. And there are probably some cool things that you could be a part of if you get in on the ground floor, as it were. So thanks to our sponsors, Storytellers Forge. Also thanks to Diamorte for their amazing music, which you're listening to right now. Purpose written for this campaign. I've had a lot of fun arranging it for the various sections of the game as we've been going through, making sure I have the right stuff for combat, making sure I have the right stuff for non-combat, and all the various things. We have Drake and Diamorte to thank for that, so thank you very much. If you like the art that you're looking at, the amazing character art that is in our slideshow here, that is wonderfully provided by Kai. She is an amazing artist that we really love, and I think you will love her too if you check her out. Links for her Instagram and information is also in the chat. If you are interested in being a player of mine in one of my games, I am a DM for hire. You can find me at my Discord, Medium Rare. Link to that is also in the chat. That is all of the opening introductions. I would like my players to introduce themselves one final time, starting with Ryan.
Hello, they call me Ryan. I am the character known as Yuck. I'm an actor-manager with the Ohio Shakespeare Festival, and if you like nerdery-themed leathery goods, I have a shop on Etsy called the Buckle and Rose.
Yes, indeed. Cool, leathery, nerdery stuff at Buckle and Rose. Next up, let's have Samus.
Hi, my name is Samus. I play Niall Phelan Caldwell. I am an opera singer and educational equity fundraiser, and I'm also in a fantastic little podcast with MEDM called Echoes of Kryn. If you like the Dragonlance setting, I highly suggest you check it out.
Yes, I am the DM for that, and Samus provides a voice for one of the characters. Please check us out. Link for that in the chat. Next up, let's have Soku.
Hi, I'm Soku, and I'm playing Dusk. I work on video games such as World of Tanks. I enjoy playing video games such as World of Tanks and World of Warcraft, and probably a lot of other World of somethings. There's many good games out there, and I'm probably playing them.
Very cool. And here joining us and playing D&D as well. And last but not least, Jesse.
Hi, I'm Jessie, and I play Dawn. I am an accountant, and so I do a lot of the quick math for when I'm playing D&D with my friends. And
it's an amazing superpower.
And yeah, it's great. It's the most useful thing I've learned being an accountant is being able to do math rock, math fast.
D&D math.
Yes, absolutely. I can see that.
Yeah.
We're very grateful to have you here, Jesse.
Different subclass of cleric. Just
before we
Math
go
cleric.
any further, however, I would like to extend one final thanks and expression of gratitude to our producer, Alias Prime, who has worked incredibly hard to help us be as gorgeous and sound as good and be represented as well. Make sure we're doing everything as well as it possibly can be done. He does a lot. He extends himself further than he should sometimes, frankly, but it's all from a place of love. At least I hope it is. But we love him back regardless. Thank you very much, Alias, for all that you do. And, well, we hope you don't kill us.
That's your job.
I think that is everything to say. And so, without any further ado, I think I shall say, my friends, it is time. I extend my hand, inviting you to step with me into fantasy. Release your hold on that which you know to be true, and let imagination rule for the next few hours. Last time, our adventurers, fresh from having lost track of their quarry, the individuals who fell from the sky, crushing their friend Corcoran Pebblemoss, a strange, crazed woman with blood-caked hair and weapons still embedded in her body and chains that magically extended out from her gauntlets. She and her enemy, apparently, a individual wearing very ornate leather armor with tousled blonde hair, the two of them in a lover's or death's grip embrace, crashing down into Noxvillar and crushing Corcoran Pebblemoss. The group gave chase to them along with the Nixian guard, but unfortunately lost them in the crowd. They were brought before the godless monarchy, and the sovereign, Ashlyn, asked to give their account as to what had happened. They did, and once again made themselves known to the godless monarchy, and as they were leaving, were approached by some individuals who said that more information was needed, and that if they were looking for something to do on behalf of this faction of warriors or workers or perhaps even rangers or spies even, they agreed to go back out into the Ashen Fields to see what they could find out about Kelsier and Janos, these two strange people who had fallen from the sky and seemed to represent two warring factions that are beginning to enter into the Sunless Crossing en masse, and creating encampments on either side of Noxvillar as they build their forces more and more as the souls of the slain warriors cross over into this demiplane, limbo, and afterlife. Unfortunately, on their way to gather more information, they were accosted by a fey creature who was apparently one of the accursed guard, one of these factions that had come with Kelsier, the strange blood-haired woman that they had chased earlier. Yanthazel was her name, a fey creature who had some history with Yak. After a fight, out of sheer spite it would seem, Yanthazel, on the verge of being defeated, snuffed out the life of Gwyntier. She was turned into a pile of ash. And while it seems that in times up to this point, creatures killed in such a way, souls destroyed in such a way, would return within 24 hours, there is some question as to whether or not that is still the truth. And so, here in the Ashen Fields, near the ashes of their fallen comrade, the party comes to grips with the fact that they are no longer in the presence of their paladin. My friends, what do you do?
Yak, having previously flown in and landed on the spot where Wynn started to dust, he has sort of scattered the remains of both his friend, his dearest friend, and his most hated foe. And I'm scrambling to pick up the dust and try to put it into a pouch. And he's just muttering to himself while he's doing it. And he's just like, everything I did for you. Everything I did for you.
I will kneel down and put my finger and thumb in the dust and rub it in between my fingers a little bit. And I will look up at Jack and say, who was she?
We have to get her. We have to find her. We have to
Jack,
put her back.
who was she?
Nothing. She's dead now, and it doesn't matter. All that matters now is that Wynn is gone. Now help me.
Dawn is helping Jack furiously, and she's also muttering under her breath. She's like, no, not again, not again. Not another one. I'm supposed to help you. He just got you answers. And I'm just doing everything I can to help Jack with try to collect as much dust as we can. And
But it's ash. So unfortunately, as you pick it up, it does continuously deteriorate in your hands.
I
The
lock eyes.
large greatsword, the Nixian blade greatsword, and the Shackleguard shield is all that remains physically of Wynn.
I look at Jack and I lock eyes with him and I say, you do realize this is your fault.
at that, Dawn immediately stops. No. It's not. And forcing him to regret something that is not his fault
I
is
hold my
not
finger
fair.
up and I put it right in your face, and I don't break eye contact from Jack. You abdicated a throne. Ran from your responsibilities. Ran from her. And she came and destroyed her. You are the reason she's dead.
I will force myself in between these two. What he did in the past, while it might be regrettable, is not something that would have led to this, and we could have not in any way predicted this.
Oh, bite my ass, you sentient menstrual cramp. This is his fault.
Niall, I get it. You're mad. You're scared. But attacking us isn't going to make you feel better. And making him feel worse about losing his closest friend isn't going to make anybody feel better.
We don't even know who the fuck he is.
Do we know? You were a wolf 3 days ago, like before we came here. We don't know who you are either. And yet we're still together. We still need to trust you. We all have histories before we met. It doesn't matter. What matters is what we've done together. And he had no way of stopping that. How would he know that this person would find him when we're in a place where we're already dead? What the fuck, Niall? And I'm going to grab Jack. And I'm going to be like, Jack, don't listen to him.
He's right.
No, he's not.
No, he's right.
Look, I died here just a little while ago. She'll come back.
We just have to figure out what's happening to the people, where they are. Where maybe she's with Corcoran.
That's the whole thing about this place, is that you don't die, you come back. You keep coming back.
He looks pleadingly into your eyes, Dawn, knowing that you know a little more about just what it is to bring people back again. We can find her.
Yes. We can. Together. And I'm gonna look at Niall for a minute and then look back at you. We're a team. And
I have not looked away from Jack since I accused him. I want to know who you are. And I want to know what you did that brought her here. I'm not taking another step with any of you until you tell me.
You don't have to take another step with us. We let you come with us because we thought that we could have trusted one another. Are we all supposed to?
Her name was Yantezul. She was the guard of the labyrinth that I oversaw. It was my job to maintain that corner of the Fae. And I thought I had left it in good hands. I didn't know I should have assumed she would come looking for me. But the Fae matters are usually nothing to the material plane, and vice versa. She had a sickness, a cruelty, he looks pointedly at Niles, that rotted her heart. And for that, she was cast out. How was I to know she would have blamed me for this? I mean, true, I did steal one or two things from her, but, you know, it's part of my charm. Looks back at Dawn. We're going to fix this.
Yeah.
Because we're heroes.
Yes.
And that's what we do.
Yes. And I know that you're going to feel regret about what happened here. Use that to help drive you towards finding her. Use it. Don't let it weaken you. Move forward.
Not. Of course. What?
We can do this, and we're here for each other. We can do this.
Let's go back to where we were when I died. It'll be an easy, close place for her to find.
It was one of the places we were supposed to go for answers anyway.
Right. Answers, then.
Answers. We have 24 hours till she'll come back anyway.
Right. So we have some time.
We have some time. She'll think about how much shit she'll give us if we waste all that time not doing what we've promised somebody to do. So
Is that a suitable enough answer, you bourgeoisie puffed up baker bitch?
I take a knee to the ground and I look at the spot where her ash gathered. And a tear falls from my eye. And I get very stiff. And I take a fist and I pound it into the ground where she died. And I bring my gaze to meet yours again. And then I wordlessly get up and start walking towards the junction.
All right.
Who wants to carry her things?
I will help.
I can't.
yeah,
I'll grab the shield.
and I'll grab the sword.
Thank you. To the junction.
To the junction.
On our way there, maybe you can tell us some stories that you think she would truly regret us knowing.
Oh, so you mean all my stories? Yeah, of course. Happy to.
All right. As you travel towards the junctions, a little less than a day's journey by foot away from Noxolar, it's a far cry from what you saw before. As I described before, there's souls everywhere, some in groups being shepherded by ashen shepherds, some just by themselves, sort of wandering around lost looking. You could see more of these void ravagers, the creatures that attacked you at Junction and seem to eat reality. There in the distance, you could see the Nixian guard flying overhead every now and then, scrambling to keep the souls that are arriving in the Sunless Crossing here safe from these interlopers. Every now and then, the sky erupts with more of these streaks of red light as these souls wreathed in red flame come crashing down into the Sunless Crossing, as opposed to the gentle golden drops that forms you took when you arrived. That doesn't seem to be happening anymore. And occasionally, as these individuals arrive, they no sooner take stock of where they are, but they begin to fight furiously. You see these battle-scarred individuals. There's some that have a uniform that is clearly of the Legionnaires, and these others that are wearing these armor that's dented and battle-scarred. The shepherds and the Nixian guards are doing their very best to separate these individuals whenever they do fight. And then you can see in the distance on either side of Nox Valar these two camps forming. One of the Legionnaires under Janos Alduin, and the other the Accursed Guard under Keldzir. However, you do see the junction in the distance as you make your way towards it. The familiar, enormous inn, 6 stories tall, as opposed to wide, and the streaks of light lighting up the sky around it. There are a large crowd of people around the junction. When you were there before, it wasn't exactly uncrowded, but now there is a huge throng of people. You see several ashen shepherds trying to make orderly lines, and you see Kella Pern moving in and around these people, bringing stuff to drink, stuff to eat, but it seems to be quite busy and not at all peaceful. But you do arrive, and there are people here as well, Kella and others that you could potentially question. One interesting thing you do notice is that, again, every race and creed from all of the various worlds and universes that touch the Sunless Crossing, variety of beings all here in death, but many of them have this strange vine-like red substance that's moving over their bodies. They're just looking down at it and grabbing it and ripping it off and sort of moving it to the side and just removing it, and as it does, it fades away and turns to ash as it lands on the grass. But you see quite a few of these individuals that have this red substance upon them.
Does it keep returning to them?
No, it doesn't. Once they remove it, it seems to be, at least it appears to be staying away.
What's happening?
Right? Did we come at a bad time, or is it just me?
This is, as terrible as things are here, how awful is it wherever all these people are coming from?
I mean, it must be a world-ending war.
DM, are either of us aware of either of these factions from the real world, or is this a conflict that we think exists?
You've never heard or seen these. The one thing that you can get the impression on all these fights you see, they have there's a lot of eldritch blasts being used. You've certainly seen those. That is not necessarily the purview only of warlocks, but the fact that so many of them are using this sort of greenish black energy that forms in their hands and shoots out seemingly an endless supply of it. It would seem to indicate that nearly all of these individuals are some form of warlock.
Okay.
But you see all these people milling around. Kella does see you, and she waves and says, "Oh, it's so good to see you all again, but I'm quite busy. I'm afraid if you are looking for accommodations, you're going to have to wait, and I would just as soon leave the things open and for those who are newcomers. But
We don't need
if,
accommodations, we need answers. And if we can
Oh.
help you as you walk, we would appreciate the information we can relay back to headquarters.
I'm at my
so to
wit's end.
speak.
I am working so hard to make sure that everyone is cared for. I don't even have time for that. But if you have questions, there are plenty of people around here to ask. I dare say they will know as much as I do, if not more.
Point of order, DM. Since we took us the hour to walk to the junction, could we have taken a short rest?
Well, if you're walking, you're not resting.
Okay. Just
I
checking.
mean, if you're sitting on someone's shoulder, you probably could have done
That's a good point,
this.
yes. I have ruled in previous games that if somebody is riding, they like in a wagon or something, they could potentially long rest. So if you just like laid out on somebody's shoulder, then I would
That's
say yes,
hilarious.
Oh my
you could
god.
potentially get a longer.
Dawn would let you use her shoulders to rest.
Oh my god, I love that because I'm like the size of a small child, so that's just amazing. And you just like, carry me.
Please.
My best friend died.
As you're having this conversation with Kella, a shadow looms over you, and you turn to see one of the more bizarre creatures you've ever seen. Some sort of insect-like creature. It has a total of 6 limbs, but it carries itself almost like a centaur, with its 4 back limbs being its mode of transportation, and then upright as it comes up, and its 2 front limbs being its main manipulators. But its face, 2 enormous bug eyes and an insect-like mouth with mandibles and antenna, has a decidedly praying mantis look to it, but it looms over you. And as it does, there is an amulet around its neck that has a blue stone that begins to glow. And you all hear in your mind, "Forgive me. I could not help but overhear that you had questions. I was listening to various people. I think I might have some answers for you."
That's very
It's
kind
just
of you.
me.
Who said that?
I'm Dawn.
It is pleasure to meet you, Dawn. I find that most people such as you have difficult time pronouncing my name by moving air through their face meat. Most of the other humanoids I have encountered see fit to call me Ikilik.
Ikilik. It's very nice to meet you, Ikilik.
Did he just say face meat?
I think
Yeah.
he did.
Wow.
I am not able to communicate by moving air through face meat.
That must really bug you.
Fortunately, I have this. And he takes one of his large arms and points to the amulet around his neck, which allows me to communicate with you effectively.
That's very handy. That's great. Thank you very much, Kella. We'll let you get back to it. I think we found somebody
Yes,
to help
thank
us.
you. And she's gone.
Did you need anything?
These are my companions, Dusk and Niall and Jack, or Yuck, or Yak. What is it today? What is it in this hour?
Q.
Q.
The ja is silent.
How very French of you.
Sybil.
I am pleased to meet all of you. Is there a question that you have? I am newly arrived, but I have been very observant.
Well, these 2 groups that seem to be fighting pretty insistently with each other. Have you heard where they've come from?
I have. Both of them hail from a land known as the Shadelands. There is a tremendous war happening there.
Okay.
It is
What
ruled
is it that-
by one known as the Accursed King. The Legionnaires and the Accursed Guard hail from the Shadelands. They served it once, but they are now embroiled in a war with one another.
What is the source of this conflict?
That is harder to decipher. It has something to do with patrons and warlocks. Somehow, Legionnaires are able to make pacts with more than one patron, thereby granting them tremendous power.
Oh,
The Accursed Guard seem to be the more focused on that. The Legionnaires are against it.
okay.
So you're saying the land is war-locked?
I do not understand.
Please ignore him.
Neither do we.
Okay. And so essentially they feel so strongly about this, it seems that they're fighting to the death and then coming here and continuing to fight?
From my observations, they do not seem to realize that they have died. Each of them thinks that this reality is some sort of trick.
Okay.
Is there
In
any
this
way to
place-
force someone to
go ahead.
believe?
I'm sorry, I didn't catch that.
I know, I
Is there-
spoke over you. Go ahead, Dusk.
Is there any way to force someone to understand or
That is not a question I have an answer to.
But
In this place,
There is.
when people die, they are reborn in 24 hours. Except we've noticed that rule has seemed to change lately. I don't know how long you've been here, but have you noticed anything pertaining to that?
I am afraid I cannot help. As you say, I am newly arrived. If you have been here a long time, then you no doubt know more about that than I do. I only know what I see. You have the frame of reference to determine what is different.
Okay.
Icky thumb.
maybe
Um,
there's a long death queue?
Are you a warlock yourself, or have you made such a similar pact?
I am not a warlock.
Hmm.
I do not hail from this Shade Lands.
I see.
I come from a different land, although things there are also strange. Difficult
Strange
for
how?
me to remember, but I seem to recall large amounts of undead just before I died. In fact, that may have been the cause of my death. It is very difficult for me to remember. Apologies.
It's a common
Yes,
occurrence among the lucky stiffs.
He has to go to the Grove of Atonement first, probably, before he remembers.
Right. Oh, yeah. If you find a guy named Johan, fantastic. But there should be Shepard. Well, I'm sure you know this. You've been here for a moment, or do you?
I know what I have observed.
Okay.
Have you been assigned a shepherd?
I do not believe so.
They're
I
probably
sense
short-staffed.
they're all- Yeah.
I do have a question for you.
Mhm.
There is a strange vibration that continues to play in my head.
Uh,
I would like it to stop.
Is it a song?
Is that something I can request?
I mean, I don't think we can help make it stop.
Can I make an investigation check on just on his head?
Sure.
I want to investigate his head.
I
Yeah.
want to investigate his head. Not a phrase I
Sure.
use often in D&D.
Because it's an insect and not a humanoid, I think investigation might actually be the better choice as opposed to medicine.
Yeah, I was
So
going to
go
say.
right ahead.
You're good with
well,
emotions.
thanks
Why can't
to
you
my
figure it out?
new special ability at level 11, this 2 that I just
Ah.
rolled becomes a 10, giving me
Ooh.
a total of 22 on my
Yes,
investigation.
reliable
Nice.
talents. Very nice.
Yeah,
But you,
big fan.
You're not that familiar with this type of creature, so there doesn't appear to be anything burrowed in his head or anything wrong and that sort of thing. However, as you are looking at him and looking around, you do see many people around here, especially the ones that are pulling off this red substance off of their bodies, are kind of bobbing their heads a little, and every now and then you hear people whistling, people humming.
Is it the same song that we've heard other
That we
people
couldn't identify.
iterate?
Yeah, like the group that was walking with the shepherd last time.
Yes, I think with the investigation check you rolled, I would have to say indeed. It does seem to be snatches of the same tune. It is really quite annoying.
Oh, man.
I don't.
Mass earwig.
Earwig?
Earwig, yeah.
I'm afraid the only cure for that is time, my friend.
Very well.
I'm curious where this song is coming from. We don't seem to be humming it. Like, have I noticed any of my friends humming it over the past little bit or anything?
You have not.
Okay.
I mean, at least not to the now that it's been brought to your attention. You don't hear any of these things. But as you all look around, Jack, it bears a very similar. It sounds very similar to the song that you heard Teely play on her.
I was going to say,
lyre.
yeah. It's like I recognize this tune, right? Yeah.
I'm curious where this earwig kind of came from. I might be able to dig a little deeper on that, which might help, but I don't know. But you'd have to agree to it.
Tender do. Oh, Kella.
make a
Gone.
make a big performance check to see whether you can gather her attention.
Let's see here. I'll roll a clickety clack. That'll be a so that's a 5 on the die. Oh, good God, that's great. However, with my plus 12 to performance, it's a 17.
All right, so what do you do to get her attention?
Just chicka.
Oh, good. So my screens went crazy for a second there, and I just go. You see me
That's
like
the performance.
What's that?
That's the performance.
No, it's just can't you hear me yell? You're putting me through hell, killer. And then
You're still on my shoulder.
thank you for the extra height.
Well, I will. We will imagine that with the appropriate heavy metal theme and intensity behind it. But very nice.
Just imagine it in this tone.
Yes, there we go. Perfect. It has its desired effect, and Kella does begin to make her way back over to you all, wiping her hands. Yes.
Are you hearing music right now? Outside of my dulcet performance I just did.
No.
Okay. Several of the patrons are discussing. There's this tune, this little earwiggy tune that seems to be bugging everyone, and it's from a. I'll go into details later. Is there a way to remove that through either magical means, or should the junction?
Honey, I'm afraid I have no idea what you're talking about.
But I just remember that you're so versed in your arcane knowledge. I just wondered if perhaps you knew of a way that we could help Icky over here.
Oh, well, there's magic, of course. If he's got some, I don't know that is a serious enough problem to. Really, I'm really quite busy.
Fair point.
Kella, do you know the
Thank you.
song that everyone's singing?
She stops for a second, looks around. Everybody is singing a song, aren't they? No, I don't believe I've ever heard it. But it's not nearly anywhere close to the top of my list of problems I currently have. So, if that is all, I do apologize, but I must get back to work.
Sorry. Icky, like, I might be able to try to figure out where you heard the song, but I don't want to do it without your permission because it's a little invasive.
I do not wish to be a bother, but it is quite annoying. If you have a way to remove it without too much difficulty, I am quite happy to submit to whatever it is that you intend, as long as it will not cause me any undue harm.
It won't cause you any harm. It's just a little, like I said, invasive. I'm okay.
Mentally.
I'm going to cast Detect Thoughts on him and probe deeper into this song and try to figure out if I can find where he heard it and why it's in his head.
All right. He does allow you to do that. As you begin to probe through this strange alien mind, it's segmented in ways that do not make sense. The logic part and the emotional part are not nearly as intertwined as you've experienced with other humanoid minds. They're extremely segmented, and come together in a more of a geometric pattern as opposed to the usual melange of color and emotion that you normally feel when you're looking through thoughts. However, you do find the source of this tune, and you are able to hear it. It is very precise and incessant. It sounds like this. And as you hear it, you recognize that this is actually the same song that Jan Fizzle said and sang, although it had lyrics to it. So it would seem that it is in the minds of a great many people. And accompanying it is a incredibly intense red, foreboding miasma of emotion and dread. It seems to be where this particular melody is nestled. And there is no indication of where it came from, why it is there, but it is most definitely there. It seems to be wrapped up in something foreboding.
Okay, I'm gonna come. Sorry, I couldn't find the memory that was causing the song. So I can't modify it for you, but I'm sorry, I can't help you, but
I appreciate the attempt.
question for you, Sean. Does this remind me of what Calmer described to me about everybody in the Meditation Grove area kind of having a similar dream where they feel like they're being chased or running from a big foreboding red kind of vibe? Does that
Possibly.
Is it triggering a similar?
There's certain, you haven't seen what Calmer and the other people in the Garden of the Still Mind, you haven't seen what they have seen, you haven't dreamt what they have dreamt, but based on what Calmer said, it could be something similar.
Could I make an Arcana check to see if I know of any kind of magic that would relate to mind infestation or mind control along these lines?
Sure.
Okay. 8 on the die becomes a 10. That's an 18.
18. Magic takes many forms. You've never heard of anything like this in the prime material plane, but it is certainly possible. It's better to say that it is that the various magic by its nature is malleable and can be changed and applied to a great many things. So it is certainly possible that it is somehow being used in conjunction with this music. But
I have concerns at the number of people who are falling prey to this.
It's like it's so tied to an emotion. It's like it's not in a memory, it's in an emotion.
Does anybody have dispel magic? I feel like I would know that. Having traveled with you along.
I mean, absolutely.
Not
It's like,
not today. I don't.
if it's a spell that can fuck with the DM, I absolutely have it.
I'm not surprised. Although I'm not talking to you. I love you, Ryan. I typed an apology to Ryan as a player in 3 different places after Niall came for him.
And I haven't read a one of them.
I bet.
Perfect.
I bet.
I love it. So Ikilik continues to stand nearby if you have other questions for him. But there are potentially other people you could speak to.
Guys, I guess we need to they wanted us to look into if there's a way we can ease the conflict peacefully.
Do you see how
I
they
find
do
that
that?
highly unlikely.
I am
While
not.
while the politics behind this conflict do not necessarily make sense to me, I think it is quite obvious to see that the two sides hate each other with a passion that will not be easily undone.
That's kind of the
We
vibe.
start with information, Dawn. If you want to throw yourself in the middle of the conflict, rest in peace.
I did not say I want to throw myself in. Calm down, honestly, Niall. And I was saying that if we're looking for information, that's where we should. That's what we were told that was the hope. And so gearing our information searches in that direction might be helpful. Or if we don't think that's possible, what is our plan? To find information on how to undercut the two armies so that we can go back and give them a heads up on the way to do that? But I don't think,
I wouldn't mind starting with the shepherds. If there's another one here who can tell us a little bit more about what's been corrupted, we might have an information as to what this conflict is doing to this land.
Ikilik, have you heard other
Yes,
people
dog.
saying from the places they're coming that they saw that there was a larger number of undead before they arrived here? Or was that just your world?
I have not heard anyone else speaking of it, but there are certainly people you could ask.
Because what if what's happening here is also... What if when you die here, what if they're showing up somewhere else?
I also am wondering if maybe them all dying with the same emotion is maybe overwhelming everything else.
The anger, the hatred.
Or maybe
Yeah.
they're all dying from a similar cause.
But, what if the people who remember, people are dying elsewhere and coming here? But what if when people are dying here, they're going elsewhere because of whatever's
Into other
happening?
realities?
I don't know if there's an extra undead other places, and there's so many people killing each other here with this conflict. Maybe the system's breaking down.
I wonder if maybe one of the shepherds will know what happened when there were other wars. I mean, wars are happening all the time.
Right?
Do
I
we
feel like
see
that's
any
kind
other
of the bread and
shepherds?
butter around here.
Make a perception check, please. Niall?
22.
You do see another shepherd. It seems that these staves that you've seen, they seem to be a badge of office. And you see a woman with platinum blonde hair that is in a braid that it goes almost all the way down to the small of her back. She's dressed a little bit more smartly than Johann was, but while her face is young, there's a wisdom in her eyes. Skin is very pale, and her eyes are a luminous yellow.
I'm so sorry to bother you. I understand that things are chaotic right now. But I was wondering if
You
you
got that right.
Do you know...
Have you been claimed by a shepherd?
We have Johann.
Oh, he's an excellent shepherd. Well, my name is Sarah. I'm very busy, but is there anything I can help you with? If you've already been claimed and been to the Atonement Grove, and I assume to Nox Valar, perhaps you should return there? It's
We're actually
kind of
trying
crazy
to
here,
help
as you
the
said.
people there. Yes, I imagine not a lot of information is flowing back to the city. I was wondering if you've learned anything that we could tell them as a shepherd. Anything with your charges? Have you noticed anybody who's died here, who's come back recently?
Make a persuasion check, please, Niall.
Oh, this is a good one to have my proficiency on. Although I rolled a 17 on the die, that's a 20.
All right. She looks at you and swallows a little bit, and then sort of takes a step closer and says, well, obviously things are not ideal at the moment. All of these souls coming in. It's overwhelming, to say the least.
Yes.
Strangest thing. I've had a lot of charges that have claimed that they remember this place. Like they've already been here. That's not possible, but it's coming up enough that I think it should be added to the list of strange things.
Is there anything that they have in common?
Well, they're all arriving with this weird red stuff on them. That's another thing. I'm sure that the Godless Monarchy are on top of it. But I'm very curious about it.
Anything else? Have you? When does this red thing manifest?
Oh, I see it on majority of the souls that are arriving. Some not, of course, but quite a few with. It doesn't seem to be of any harm. It's just on them, and they take it off, and it disappears, and after a little while, it kind of comes back. Nobody's claimed any pain from it, and it's not interfering with anything as far as I could tell, but it is strange.
I see. Thank you.
You're welcome. Niall.
I could potentially try to see a little more information from one of these people with the red on them.
I was going to see if I could actually investigate it if before they pull it off.
All right.
Can we find someone who is about to pull it off and stop them?
You see a dwarf, an elderly dwarf, but he still looks like he's got enough vigor, and he's ripping off bits and pieces of this stuff. Just this blasted stuff. Does anybody? What? Do you know how to get this off of me?
I can help you remove it, but do you mind if I just look at it for just a brief moment?
Look at it. Fine. And he holds his hands up and sort of stands around and says, I'm covered in this stuff.
And I'll do both an investigation and an arcana check if I can do one after the other.
Sure.
Or do I have to pick
do an
one?
Investigation, or why don't you choose one and have somebody else do the other?
Okay. Okay, I'll stick with investigation then.
I can do Arcana. I can
that
help
is
him
a
with doing
22.
A 22.
I rolled terrible. 9.
This stuff has an organic look to it. It reminds you a lot of vines that you might see growing in a subtropical jungle, but it is it's also somewhat ephemeral. As you touch it, it moves away. You can remove it, but it has a flow to it, almost as like it's in water. As you pull it off, it moves and has a wave to it, and as it is removed from this dwarf, after a few moments, it dissipates, and rather than turning to ash, actually it seems to diffuse, as if again in water, melting away.
I'm just gonna try to see if I can take a piece of cloth or something and capture it before it diffuses and
Indeed.
have it wrapped.
Your best efforts are met with failure, as
Okay.
it seems impossible to hold onto the stuff after it is removed from an individual.
I'm sorry, Don, what did you roll?
I rolled a 9 on my Arcana.
Well, you've never seen anything like this. The fact that it doesn't appear to be causing any problems makes you think that perhaps there's nothing to worry about. But
Oh, I don't
for
trust
the
it.
9, I'm afraid that's all I could tell
Every
you.
time we've decided something isn't anything to worry about here, it's really bitten us in the ass.
Yeah.
So,
But this time, you're sure it's nothing to worry about.
sorry, where did you pick up this red stuff that you have?
It was here when I got here.
Okay. Do you remember how you got here? Do you remember what happened to you to get you here?
Oh, yeah, there was a bunch of undead that came into my village. They formed a battle line, kept them back, destroyed the bastards. Gruesome. But ever since then, I couldn't get this blasted song out of my head. It's just... I couldn't find solace in anything. I went to my forge. Every time I hit the hammer, I found I was hitting it in the same rhythm of the blasted song. Just over and over and over again. I was drinking. I was trying to sleep. Just couldn't get rid of it. And I find that here I am, and apparently I'm dead. I've got all this crap on me, and I can still hear the bloody song. It's not as bad, though.
How'd you die?
I don't recall, to be honest.
Huh. I'm sorry. I've already looked into. I don't think I can get the song out of your head. I would if I could.
Oh. Like I said, it's not as bad here.
We'll help
Did
him
the song
get rid of the
start-
red stuff.
Maybe I
Did the
could
songs?
try a counter charm. Do you think that might help?
You could try.
I've tried everything, but you do whatever you want.
Oh,
Did
sure.
the song in your head start on the day that those undead showed up?
Oh, I mean, around the same time,
Okay. Are you gonna try the
Sometimes the best way to
counter?
get a song out of your head is to think of another one.
well,
So
I
if you
tried
have
that.
a song,
Okay.
Jack.
Oh, well, here we go then. me. Cut this song into pieces. This is my last retort. Subjugation. Unsee me now as a bitch who needs a beating. This is my last retort.
All right.
Oh my god!
I don't disagree.
Did that work?
Even as you were singing this song, you cannot help but there is a little bit of this melody that you've heard over and over again. It's certainly not invading your mind as it appears to be some of these other people that are here at the junction, but it is nevertheless there. You find it creeping into this song somehow. I don't know that I'm gonna try and reproduce it, but it is there. Like as you finish the song, you finish the retort, you play a little lick, and it's and you weren't expecting to add that, but add it you did.
Is that better? Everyone's a critic.
He needed that humbling. Thank you.
Did you notice though? Did Jack notice that he played that lick at the end of it?
I leave it to Jack, but you all certainly noticed.
Oh, that the creature that I just played the lick at the end of
No,
it.
you did. You played a lick of at the end of your song. You added the song we're trying to get out of his head.
Oh, damn it! It's a really catchy song. That damn Kinder.
I don't think
Can
it's
I
her.
think? Can I think of any situations in which there could have been like mass hysteria or things like that, where people all seemed to share almost like a religious.
Well, certainly there are. I'll let you make a history check, but mass hysteria is something that has infected people through numerous societies throughout history.
Across the millennia. But like, I feel like there's.
Okay.
19.
A 19. You've heard of mass hysterias, you've heard of mass curses, mass charms, all that sort of thing. All that could be a possibility in terms of what would be happening here. So widespread over what would seem to be numerous realities indicates that it's something akin to that, but not quite the same. And I would say, as you all are having this conversation and thinking, you notice this dwarven person has wandered off, humming this song, is just sort of distracted, gone into the crowd, and no longer around to be questioned.
Okay, before we left yesterday, I took Wynn to the Still Garden for some quiet so I could help find some answers about her daughter. And while we were there, the person who's been guiding me through meditation, Calmer, mentioned that they've been having kind of mass dream or visions of this kind of red foreboding thing, and that's I didn't see what they're seeing, so I can't know for sure, but that's what I saw, that's what I felt when I kind of sunk into Ikilik's thoughts about the song.
There must
All
be a
of this-
connection. This
It's
feels like an infection of some kind.
This really feels like a warlock thing. Everything about
it's
it.
starting in the material worlds for people.
But aren't different like warlock deities or deities in general all over scattered reality? It could be that a certain warlock patron is just having a field day.
But he said the same thing as Ikilik, which is that there was more undead.
Which is also very popular warlock thing. I mean, it's also my thing, but very much so a warlock thing.
Are we like is the song tied to what's bringing so many people here, and the reason why we're not humming it because we weren't brought
We
here?
got here before it?
Maybe.
Is the accursed king maybe a patron?
Well, he's a ruler. It sounded like. It sounds like the issue
could be
is that a bunch of the people from that land have managed to get themselves multiple patrons somehow, and some people don't like that, and that's. But I don't know. How do we research this song more? Should we focus on that? I don't know. What do you guys think we like?
Jacques, is there such a thing as a song library?
What, you mean like a mystical collection of
all the
I mean-
music ever released?
ooh, so much
That you
of the
could
music
easily add
is
to your listening device?
so much
It's called Bardify.
If only there was such a service. Where could we find such a thing?
I mean, I could potentially try to get us some answers using Commune, but we'd have to have some pretty specific questions to ask.
I mean,
DM, are
Very
we
much-
certain that it is the song that Teely was singing?
You are certain that the song that when Teely sort of brought up her lyre that had no strings, she just played a couple of notes just to sort of demonstrate that it was a magic lyre, and those are the notes she played this tune. And she didn't seem to put any effort or thought into it.
The last time I heard this tune, it was just before we had the audition for the Fae housing, Could the creature that holds sway over that house have cast some sort of? Why would it have affected 2 armies? That doesn't. I mean, admittedly, the Fae have been known to, for lack of a better term, fuck with people
shit.
and
Yeah.
fuck shit up. And then on top of that, we usually like to do it through song. So,
But didn't she also didn't you say that, because you had asked her how she got here alive, and didn't she tell you that, didn't you say that she said she just sang a song to get here?
I mean, yeah.
Was it this song? Did you ask her about the song?
To be fair, I was more focused on myself, which I feel like is a very honest thing for me to be.
Very on brand, Jack.
Thank you. It's pronounced uck.
At any rate, a few more questions. You come to the conclusion that while there may not be a causality, there is certainly 2 things in effect here. This strange vine-like tendrils of red power, and also this song, and talks of undead, and bizarrely, souls that somehow remember being here, as if they had been here before, but couldn't quite remember. Perhaps they dreamed of this place. Fewer of those, but there definitely is something going on as far as that is concerned as well. But after several hours of gathering information and compiling notes, you don't think that there's much else to gain here. And if you want more information, then you have to brave visiting one of these camps.
Should we brave one of the camps, or should we could?
Well, if we go to the accursed, I'm just going to burn it to the fucking ground.
Well, I was going to say,
So-
if we're going to do one, we should go to the Legionnaires, because the guy seemed at least like he wasn't threatening people and being like aggressive towards random people. He was actually like seemed quite sorry and
No, you're
like
yes,
and really he was like he seemed more he seemed more like, so sorry, can you help me find a way to hide, as opposed to show me where to hide or I'll rip your head off kind of vibes. So like they seem like the slightly more reasonable. Or other option is we go back to Nox Valar, share the information we've gathered. We could stop by the still meadow, and I could potentially see if Calmer would let me do a little jaunt into his memories to see if it's the same red scary thing before we go and share the information. If we could.
Where are the camps compared to where we are?
So you are about a day's journey away from Nox Valar, and the 2 camps are not far at all from Nox Valar. They're within sight of the city.
Are they on the way?
Well, not directly on the way. You would have to, if you make a beeline to Nox Valar.
But kind of like cut in that direction regardless.
Yes, in that same,
Yeah, because the junction is on the
blue.
outskirts, and then kind of we have to. Okay.
I definitely think we should check in with a camp, at
Yeah.
least.
I imagine they were very helpful and made like signs or banners or.
I'm sure they'll be super welcoming for random people walking up to their camp is my concern.
Like one side's wearing all blue shirts, one side's wearing all red shirts. Is that?
Yeah, so we should.
Well,
The,
kind of. I
uh,
mean, they did have like a.
yeah.
They did
the,
have
the-
like no. Go ahead, Chant.
Yeah, the accursed guards seem to have more of a military look to them. They have more armor. Almost, a lot of them almost seem Knights Templar like.
Oof.
The ones that you fought with
So the Legionnaires.
Lanthazel,
The accursed seemed the more militant group.
well, more traditionally militant, at least as far as their silhouette would be concerned.
Okay.
Mm.
I mean, do we want to try to go to the Legionnaires and get some information from Janos? I mean,
Let's-
he at the very least recognize us, probably, but that might also not go great for us.
I mean, we
We did-
didn't end up doing anything to them, really.
I mean-
they got away.
I mean, I did force him to kneel. a little bit.
What?
But
Hey, no kink shame. Not even gonna.
I don't know. He seemed to have some sort of weird vibe. They had him and Kelsier and that lady. They had a weird vibe. They wanted to kill each
Oh,
other, but
yeah.
I'm pretty sure they wanted to have a romp in the sack before they did.
Well,
Let's go and
you
ask.
could certainly do that if you wish.
Just walk up to Janos. Hey, did you want to bone Kelsier?
Yes, please.
Be honest.
That's a great
that.
first question.
Be honest. Yeah, we're very curious.
Okay,
So
so
get stuck in. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? All right.
hit up the Legionnaires first.
Yes.
I think
Alright.
that's the wiser course of action, yes.
Very well. Again, it will take about a day to get there, so I would assume that you all take an opportunity to rest here. Although you cannot rest within the junction, you can certainly find a place nearby.
Yeah.
There are quite a few of the Nixian guard around, making sure that this place, of all the places here in the Ashen Fields, remains safe. So you're well protected. Does anybody have anything they wish to do or say while they are attempting to get a long rest?
I imagine Jack and Niall are at like opposite corners of the the patch of
Like every now and then one discordant.
No, I guess not.
No, I guess not. All right.
I think it's
okay.
just like I think Dawn's just trying to like keep the peace as best as possible. So she's probably
Sure.
doing that thing where there's like two people who are obviously like struggling. So she's just trying to fill the void of silence that is being created by these two people who are mad at each other. So Dawn is just rambling
Oh no! Just
nonstop, just uncomfortably like, oh, this will make it better. If eventually I'll just say something that will bring the group back together. So I'm just gonna uncomfortably talk about stuff that random things, just like stories.
The most cringy
just
of all
super
cringes.
cringe.
Oh my God, I
just
love
trying to make everybody feel more comfortable and failing so bad at it because she's not
Right.
used to like actual internal conflict with this group.
Right.
And so she's
right.
just like, I'm gonna
Lots of awkward
fix it.
laugh moment. Love it. Yeah.
Dawn.
Oh.
Dawn.
Yeah,
You're doing that thing again.
what thing?
Whenever you are stressed, you don't shut up.
Am I talking a lot?
Yes.
Okay.
I know it's been a while.
I used to comfort myself by scratching Niall's ear. And I think
I
I
wouldn't-
think he'd stab me if I tried it.
Yeah, I wouldn't do that.
After that, I would
You could probably
shut up.
scratch Jack's ear.
All right. So go ahead and mark off a long rest, everybody, please.
So, Dusk, since you're in the make your own friends business, if we were to deal with an undead situation, would you have sway over that? I'm just like, obviously, you've got, you're talking stick and whatnot, but like, I've seen you exert control over one or two individuals. How many could you feasibly control at one time?
So I can at most control my... Oh my gosh, where's my proficiency going? Oh, 4.
Oh, good. So if I kill Niles, that means you have
No.
2 more. What? No, what? What?
No.
Do you want me to start talking again?
Oh, God, no. No. No, I'm sorry. I'll just go to sleep.
Look, I'm not even exactly sure how that works here, because I technically do need a humanoid corpse, but those don't tend to be very feasible here.
Oh, wait. And then are we
Are we undead?
still technically Oh, God.
If I can't make you into a corpse, then I guess so.
I mean,
You haven't seen any corpses since you've been here.
because they all turned to dust.
Indeed.
Yeah,
But-
this skill of mine is
That
The only corpse you see is the one that is hanging out on top of the Staff of Dread, currently just scratching his head
No, but because
absent-mindedly.
that Jan
because
says-
Johan is a skeleton, and that guy's.
But that Jan lady person, I wasn't able to like connect with her. I wasn't able to have a heart-to-heart connection with her, and that usually only doesn't work with undead and like machinery. So she was undead, I think.
Okay.
Does that mean we're undead?
Have you been able to connect with anyone since we've been
I
here?
haven't tried.
Don't do it to me.
You actually have. You tried on Nile and failed.
I did that's a different one. That's the
Well, that's not fair because
that's-
Niall's dead inside.
that was my
Oh, I got you. Say a
empathic
different ability.
awareness.
Okay.
I'm talking about my bond of empathy, which is like a heart. One is mind, a little more mind emotion and emotions. The other one is more less.
Got it.
I mean, I could try that.
Will this require you talking more or less?
I could stop talking and do it. I'm gonna attempt to use bond of empathy with Jack. Because Niall scares me
What
more.
does that look like? What does that look
It
like?
doesn't actually look like Dawn's just gonna like take a deep breath and then a little just like mote of pink string kind of connects the two of us, but that
Your
nobody's.
hair doesn't even wave. You just.
No, it's very
Lit.
quiet. She just does it very quietly. She's just because the point of it is that it's very subtle because I can use it to help
Right.
affect persuasion, intimidation, and
Yes,
deception
yeah.
checks. So you wouldn't want it to be
crazy light thing
super.
you've got going on there.
So it's
yeah.
like I noticed that I'm now I see a string connecting Jack and I, but nobody else would, unless
So,
he's
Jack,
a construct
you know
or
this is
undead.
coming. You know this is coming. It doesn't have any feel. Feel to it. You don't realize it is happening. Dawn, there is a brief hesitation, and you worry that for some reason it's not working. However, you feel the connection take hold, and I would like maybe Dawn, Jack, if Dawn is to get a psychic impression of you, what would it be at this moment?
Jesus. Like it is that little kid in the corner of his room in the middle of the night who is scared and he wants someone to help him. And in the same way that your baby will cry for you and cry for you and cry for you. But instead of having that moment of relief where someone walks through the door, he's just sitting there, alone, in the dark.
I hate that so much.
Getting that impression, Dawn would just. You guys would
Jack just
probably
looks at me
notice there's some tears actually rolling down her cheek because she feels it as if it's her own emotions, and she's just going to get up and she's going to just hug Jack.
Found the oubliette, did you?
And she's just going to hug you and say, and not say anything. And she's like, well, and then after a couple minutes, she's just going to go, well, I don't think you're undead.
Yay!
So this hug, to reiterate, there's quite a size difference between you and Jack. When you
Yeah.
do this
It's like somebody hugging a child, and
Yeah,
she's
yeah,
hugging.
yeah.
She's hugging him as if he's a child who needs comfort.
Watch the wings!
Well, you all begin your long rest. However, it is interrupted as you see the familiar form of Johann making his way. Have you seen a small fairy like... No, I see you're busy. I'm sorry. I'm looking for a blue-skinned tiefling. She... oh, I see. Yes. And eventually, his eyes do find you and comes over to you all and says, "Ha ha! There you are! Where's Wien?"
She's gone.
She is currently displaced, which I'm sure you have all the answers for. So, what brings you here?
Well, that's terrible news.
Why is
But
it-
she will return, no doubt. We just need to be patient. And, I will definitely make sure that there is an awareness amongst the Ashen Shepherds. When she does return, we will escort her to Knoxville post haste. But it's not as good news, I suppose, now as it was, but I do have good news. You are aware that the Feast of Shepherd is upon us.
Right.
Corcoran was inviting us before the unfortunate incident.
Right.
Yeah.
And some time has passed. You recall that after you had your meeting with the Godless Monarchy, some days passed before you were contacted by the Pale Horseman to come and gather this information. So, indeed, you are closer in time to the Feast of the Shepherd. Johann pulls out a letter and he passes it to you. I'm going to show it to you here, but I'm going to also read it to you in the voice that it is written in. So, it is a simple piece of scroll paper, but there is a watermark on it that seems to represent the tree that you saw in the center of Nox Valar, the Etherwood. And then there is a seal that has been broken that has the symbol of the Sovereign upon it, the Godless Mark. And it says, "To our newest arrivals, perhaps the last souls that fell naturally into our realm, well, as naturally as a violent death normally is." Wait, scratch that. Ignore that last line, please. I'm used to simply writing in my journal, and not with this enchanted quill that pens everything I say. I am inviting each of you and your shepherd to the Onyx Requiem as Valen and my guests of honor at the Shepherd's Feast tonight. I'd like to imagine... No, we have much to discuss about current affairs, but we first want to offer you a sincere thank you. You did lend your assistance back in the Ashen Fields and drew steel in our name, after all. It is the least we could do. I look forward to seeing you. Ashlyn Sovereign. P.S. It's a party, so wear what you will. While fashion for these things can get a little obnoxious, you will be spared judgment from others simply because you are, well, my guests. So, Johann sees you read that and says, so, obviously that's going to be, we're coming upon dawn now, so that'll be tonight, but I know that you're doing important work here, but I do hope that we can make our way back to Nox Valar and prepare for dinner with the Sovereign.
Johann, with everything that's happening, not that I don't want to celebrate you and all the amazing work that you and your shepherds do.
I appreciate that very much.
Does a feast feel appropriate with the chaos that's happening right now?
Oh, well, he looks around and says, It's difficult to imagine canceling such a festive occasion. Things are tense. Perhaps a feast is just what is needed. At any rate, I'm sure that the godless monarchy have everything well in hand. Otherwise, surely they would cancel the feast. I think the fact that the sovereign has asked you all to come is an indication that things are perhaps not as dire as they seem.
It may be a far better place to get some answers.
Yeah, we can go back. We're after the feast tomorrow. If we really want to go get more answers, we can always go out and talk. Find Giannis at the Legionnaires.
Yeah.
Tomorrow.
It is a great honor. I hope you understand. The Onyx Requiem is open to all during the Feast of the Shepherd. There'll be music, there'll be art, there'll be people paying respects to their Ashen Shepherds.
So, a lot of Ashen Shepherds are going to be there.
Oh, well, as many as can. Obviously, there's quite a lot of work to do. But those of us who have seniority will probably be there, at least for a little while. But the fact that you all have been invited, it will just go to show how much the Godless Monarchy obviously appreciates the efforts that you made during the first meeting with them.
And I
It
imagine
could also be a very good place to ask other Ashen Shepherds as to what they've been seeing.
Oh yes, of course. I'm happy to say that there has been an extension of, I suppose credit would be the best term, but it really is more of a barter system. But there are several clothiers in Noxalar that are aware that you are special guests of the Godless Monarchy, and as such are quite excited to adorn you so that you can be seen wearing their product.
Okay, and it would be important to note that she specifically said that we're the last souls to have fell naturally into this world, so they obviously understand that something, maybe a little more,
Changed.
Mm-hmm.
Well caught. Or maybe they have questions for you as well. At any rate, I am looking forward to buying a new hat.
Don't forget to transfer your feather.
Mm-hmm.
Oh no, of course. I'll treasure that feather for all time. Now you look concerned. It'll be all right.
I'll always
son.
look concerned.
I assure you.
Since he's been here, we've already figured out his facial traits.
I mean, he looked pretty concerned as a wolf, too.
That's true.
I'll take
He
your word
already
for it.
was having.
Let me give you the gamut
Well-
of his emotion. This is Miles upset. Niles happy. Niles perplexed.
Guys, we literally just kind of found, don't make me cast calm emotions.
Sorry, I can't
Johan,
keep character.
Are you walking back to Noxalar with us?
Yes. I will escort us back.
Shall I summon some
You all look
horses?
tired, and well, we should rest.
Hopefully, there's no more tornadoes.
Oh, God.
No more tornadoes. I guarantee that our trip will be uneventful.
Or woe
But
nados.
rest now. You all look like you could use it, and my goodness, it's always a shock to lose a companion, especially two.
But she'll be
in so
back.
short a time.
She'll be
But
back.
She will be back. They always come back.
They always
So-
come back.
Rest well, and that will be where we take our break, I think,
Ooh.
friends, as we are moving into the next part of tonight's session. So it'll be a 5-minute break. Before we do, I want to make sure that you all know that there is a giveaway, 2 giveaways going on. If you go to the Discord channel for Storytellers Forge right now and type in the name of this stream, Severed Threads, then you will be entered into a giveaway to receive some cool stuff from Storytellers Forge. And if you go to my Discord right now and mention the stream, Severed Threads, in the chat, then you will be entered into a giveaway to earn some dice. But more important than both of those things, please check out the backer kit campaign that is going on right now for Storytellers Forge. They have a series of books called Chronicles of the Crossing that they are looking for supporters for. It is cool books, journals, and also a metal album by Diamorte, all encompassed in this backer kit campaign. Really cool stuff, and we think that it's definitely worthy of your support. You should check it out and just see what all they might have that could appeal, especially if you were enjoying this stream, because the books especially have a lot to do with what you've seen so far here.
Yeah, get that lore.
Indeed. At any rate, we'll be back here in 5. See you then. And welcome back. For those of you who have just joined us, welcome. For those of you who are joining us from the previous session, we're glad you're here. This is the final session of this glimpse into this amazing module known as the Black Ballad. And is that Atlas?
Yes.
Atlas approves.
I'll say yes.
The Black Ballad. This is
Final
Severed
episode
Threads.
of the cat butthole.
This is Severed Threads notes from the Black Ballad. And yes, this is our final session. And we're hoping to send it off in style. Speaking of style, if you would like to win something from Storytellers Forge, the amazing writers and producers of this module, then please go to their Discord immediately and type the name Severed Threads into their chat. You can find that link in the chat here right now. And they will put you in a drawing to win some cool stuff from them. If you like dice, and oh, do we have a treat for you, you can go to my Discord and put in the name Severed Threads and be entered into a drawing to win some dice. But not just any dice, some amazing labradite dice that have been generously donated to us to give away by the amazing Soku. They are from your wizard, and behold their beauty. If you want these, then go to my Discord right now and type Severed Threads, and maybe you'll win them.
Can you give us a Hugo Behold on that one, Sean?
And behold! The dice of dusk!
Love it. Love it.
So,
Every time you roll,
I
I
would-
make that sound.
Oh my god, if you roll natural 20, that just yells behold.
behold! The natural 20! Cower and fear, DM!
Oh my god, that'd be so amazing.
Also, big thank you to Diamorte, who's got the music that you're listening to right now. Big thank you to Kai, who's done their character art. And I think that is all to say at this moment. Other than the backer kit campaign that's going on right now for Storytellers Forge. You should definitely check that out. Chronicles of the Crossing, books, journal, music, all having to do with the setting here in the Sunless Crossing, Knoxville, Ashen Fields, and so on. Definitely check out that backer kit, support, and get some cool stuff. Now, I think there's nothing else to say, so let us continue. Adventurers, fresh on from the grief of having lost Wynn to this strange fey creature known as Gantezel, went to the junction to hopefully get some information, get some answers about the strange things that are happening here in the Sunless Crossing. They spoke to a bizarre insect-like creature named Ikilik, who told them some of the things that he had been listening to or observing. Apparently there are two factions here from a place called the Shadelands, something having to do very strongly with warlocks. The two factions, the Accursed Guard and the Legionnaires. The exact nature of what has caused their conflict is not exactly known at the moment, but they definitely hate each other to the point of reconciliation not being possible. That is the main takeaway as far as that is concerned. They also have noticed that this large number of souls have been arriving at the Sunless Crossing with some strange red vine-like tendrils of energy affixed to them. Not difficult to remove, but their very presence is odd. Also, they learned of a song that seems to be permeating a large number of the souls that arrive at the Sunless Crossing. In life, they could hear the song, and it was driving them to distraction beyond endurance, causing them sleepless nights and agitation. But here in the Sunless Crossing, it is still present, just not as virulent, perhaps. They also learned of attacks of large hordes of undead, and multiple different realities that are attached to the Shadelands. All of these bits and pieces of information surely point towards something, but what they have yet to discover. Before they were able to spend any more time gathering information, Johann, their Ashen Shepherd, arrived to tell them that they had been invited by none other than Ashlyn, the sovereign of Nox Valar herself, to come to the Onyx Requiem, the center of power for the godless monarchy, and enjoy a feast, a festival known as the Feast of the Shepherd. That is a special opportunity to pay tribute to the Ashen Shepherds that have gathered the wayward souls in the Ashen Fields and brought them to Nox Valar. Great honor. Leaving the junction and traveling with Johann after a long rest, the group arrives back in Nox Valar. The chaos that is unfolding in the Ashen Fields is not very much on display here in Nox Valar. Things are continuing on fairly normally, although every now and then you do catch souls looking up and seeing the streaks of red that are going across the maelstrom in the sky, and large phalanxes of winged gargoyles and Nixian guard streaking across the sky as they attempt to keep as much order and peace as they can, with these two warring factions beginning to set up camps right outside the walls of Nox Valar. However, it is easy to forget that they are there with the prospect of shopping on the horizon. You have, as it were, carte blanche. Please tell me about the clothing and the ways you adorn yourselves to make yourself presentable for this festival at the Onyx Requiem. I think we'll start with Jack.
Excellent. So you're gonna see Jack wearing straight up the ballroom David Bowie outfit from the Labyrinth. It is like silver buckled, knee high, black boots, pants so tight you know his religion, and then like this, and then
he's a boy. Calm down.
Beautiful blue, but it's got the sparkle. Give yourself a moment.
You messed up Sean's jaw.
You asked me to go first. Remember this, DM. And then
no regrets.
And then just a gold mask that he'll carry in his hand like this. And then in honor of Johann, he'll have a matching earring, which will have a feather that matches the one that he gave him in his cap.
Very nice. So you are able to find clothiers that there is nothing but time in Nox Valar, and there are some very, very talented clothiers that have spent possibly centuries perfecting their craft, creating the very best cloth, and then applying it with the very best of skill to truly amazing garments. And now, Jack, you have one. What sort of garment do you find for yourself, Niall?
I'm actually not going shopping. I am going to fulfill the promise that I made and make something to eat for the feast. I'm going to make a showstopper cake. It is a dark chocolate Chambord cake with fresh raspberry filling, but it is also going to be, the base of the cake is going to be the Ashen Fields, and it is going to have a sculptured Johann, who is going to be reaching out to a soul, and I am going to make the likeness of Wynn. So it's going to be Johann reaching out to grab Wynn's arm and lift her up.
My. Do you cook this with Vinny at the tenements, or where do you make this?
I will grab the ingredients that I need from the casino.
Okay.
But if I feel like I have enough room at the tenements, I will cook it there, and I will save the scraps of the pieces that I carve off for Binny and anyone that she wants to feed them to, because it tastes the same. It's just not part of the cake sculpture. And I will grab at the casino a clean white chef's garment, and it will be pinned with just a simple bone pin.
I'm sorry, when you said a chef's garment, all I can think of is 99 banana cream pies. But very nice. So you are literally going to this feast as a chef,
as chef. Mm-hmm.
Got it. Right. Now, Dawn.
Dawn would probably, much to her sister's chagrin, find something incredibly simple, just like a pale gray or cream dress, probably that has like a little bit of a flowing arm situation, long dress, kind of flowing. It would come in at the waist, and then to try to like appease her sister, she would probably get some like dark blue and green, like a belt situation that just adds a little tiny bit of flair to her very simple outfit. But then she would also readorn herself with her earrings and jewelry that she would normally have had that wasn't enough of an attachment to come with her into this life, for her horns, like her horn caps and the chains that connect to her ears and everything like that. Just
Nice.
readorn that way. But in general, keep it fairly simple with just the dark green and blue belt that kind of tips her hat to her sister.
Uh-huh. Well, speaking of that, I'm excited to finally be able to reveal some full body art again done by Kai, our amazing character artist. But before we do, would you be so kind as to describe what it looks like? So,
Of course. So, Dusk being, of course, more of the flair of the dramatic, unlike her sister, who wanted to be very plain. What she ends up getting is this dress with a very low cut line. And the entire dress is this very, very dark blue, almost black, with these silver stripes going vertically down the entire line, with a full sleeve that goes up to the end, and from the back, a similar, almost sheer, striped cloak kind of hanging gently behind her.
yes, indeed. And now, here she is in all of her glory, just dripping with style and sophistication. Wow, enough to cover all of you. As you prepare yourselves.
With a lot of bickering going on between, you can't just wear plain!
Why not? It's fine. She said I could wear what I want. Nobody's gonna judge me.
I'm judging you!
You judge everybody.
Each of you who do spend time with a seamstress or a tailor, they all seem inclined to maybe give a little extra something, no charge, just to sort of put their signature on it. Dawn, the small gentleman, very thin and just a wisp of hair, but eyes, glasses over his eyes that are incredibly thick and make his eyes appear large and bug-like. Looks at what you're wearing and says, "Are you sure there's nothing else that you want for this incredible, great honor?"
No, I'm quite happy in this. It's just,
Well, if you're happy, that is the most important thing. But I would also like to be happy.
okay. What do you want to? I don't like to be flashy.
Ah, perhaps a scarf?
A scarf? Sure.
Yes.
Sure. A scarf?
A splash of a complementary color.
For the belt?
But
The-
yes, a sash then, not a scarf.
Okay. Yeah. In like blues and green, dark blue green.
I was thinking of something more contrasting, something just vibrant and exciting to offset the rest of it.
Okay.
You're getting red.
I have a beautiful blood red sash with flecks of gold in it and silver fringe. Would that be acceptable?
I mean, I usually wear gold jewelry, so
Perfect.
But do you have anything in like a bright? I usually have something that matches my sister's color and like the color of my tattoo.
So, blues and greens.
Yeah. Do you have a bright blue or green?
Yes. A very bright. How about a cerulean blue?
Sure.
Excellent. And he comes back with a beautiful sash that has this beautiful pale
Ringing
sky
endorsement of a salient as sure.
Dawn doesn't want to, but she also just wants to make this person happy.
That's
So
what he's
much
counting on.
that
Yeah.
she's like
Absolutely,
so. It means so much to her to make him happy that she just goes with it. She's like, yeah, sure, great.
You're not taking the lessons you've learned from Calmer into your actual life.
No.
That's fine. We'll get there. Baby steps. Anyway, it is, of course, as you like and you feel comfortable, there is this one bright splash of color that definitely stands out. Will make you easier to spot in a crowd and perhaps let people know that you are indeed your sister's sister as far as style is concerned. Jack, the person who's working with you, could not be happier. An enormous half-orc woman with incredibly dexterous fingers as she says, I have wanted to do something like this for so long. If only you were bigger. Could you be bigger? I'm afraid it's going to get lost.
I suppose I could be. Let's see here.
Really?
Well, yeah, I go ahead and cast Enlarge on myself.
Oh, it even works on the clothing. Look at how huge those buttons are.
Oh my god, and the pants are even tighter. This is amazing.
How long can you maintain this?
I'll say,
It's like 20 minutes.
yeah, right. It's concentration up to a minute. But
So, just as the seamstress is going with a pin to it, and we're adding the final touch. I'm gonna. Oh. Well, it was nice while it lasted.
perhaps we'll just make it out of a fabric that stretches.
I've got something like that. I don't know if it's stretched that much. How big do you get when you cast Enlarge?
I say, so I think it's just one size up from where you're at.
All
So
right.
yeah. So I
Still
go
pretty
from
little.
a small creature to a medium-sized creature.
All right.
So, yeah.
Better than
Nothing
nothing.
ridiculous.
Too bad. That would have been hilarious.
Could you do it
yeah, right.
twice?
What's that?
Is there an upward limit?
It's
Exponential
concentration, so you can only cast it once.
I mean,
I don't know that.
Look, I can keep doing it. It's just, look, as long as you're happy. Look, tell you what, we'll do it on the walk in, and then that way we'll get the full
Yeah,
show.
pick moments,
Yeah,
important moments.
of course.
Yes.
Oh, trust me, I always know the right moment to enlarge, so don't worry.
This is out of control.
I'm excited.
You're
So is
the
he,
only one.
apparently. All right.
Does anybody have anything else they wish to do before attending the party?
Are we meeting back up before we
Yeah, that's essentially the
Love it,
meet,
love it.
meet back
So-
up before you go, or
Yak will approach Niall and hand him a box.
What is this?
A peace offering.
I will kind of glare at you, but open it.
Inside is a suitably Niall black chef's jacket with silver thread on it. And then embroidered above the pocket here is a lovely little word in Sylvan.
I will hold it in my hands for a moment. And I will look at you and I'll just say, I miss her too. And I'll put the jacket on. And that's it.
She's gonna come back. She has to.
And we'll be dressed to impress when she does.
Won't we, though? Well, looks all Red Dawn.
The-
I love the sash.
I
While
like it.
we're
It's
here-
comfortable. It's the softest material I've ever worn.
Then Yak walks over, just pats Dusk on the shoulder, and says, "You're doing your best."
I'm about to explode.
I'm curious at this moment to know what you all would think, or if any of you imagine how Wynn would be reacting to this particular moment, getting food and going to a formal.
This-
Oh my
getting
God.
She
getting
would
me.
come in her armor.
Yeah, she would be dressed less fancy than I am. I feel like, and
Yeah.
but she would look imposing. She's
Speaking
freshening
of
up her
which,
like
can
braid.
I was gonna
ask
say, I would
before we
imagine she'd
leave-
let someone do her hair.
Before we leave, I would like to ask some of the designers if they have some like hair accessory or something that is used to attach to armor that is very nice and regal. In
yes.
a very light blue.
Are you wearing armor to the
No,
piece? Okay.
she wants to grab something for when Wynn comes back.
I see. Yes. In which case, yes, absolutely. They're more than happy. Of course, they think it's for you, but yes, anything you want.
Then maybe a hair clip thing that would tie in, because she always wears her hair in a ponytail, that would be able to wrap into that to then add these like streaks of blues and fibers to her hair.
Nice. All right. So, Johann arrives, and true to his word, does have a hat. It does have a feather in it, but it seems to be identical to the hat that he had, except perhaps a little less dusty and careworn. But the exact same color, same material, same style.
They probably
But
have
he-
this just ready every year for
he
him.
he does adjust it with a little bit of a brush and says, "What do you think?"
You look so
Looking
dapper.
Very sharp. Yep.
I appreciate that, yes. Well, it's not every day that one gets to have the Feast of the Shepherd at the Onyx Requiem itself. I'm quite excited. You all ready?
Yes.
Well, then let us proceed.
Yes.
You make your way once again to the Onyx Requiem, the largest building in Noxolar, made up of domes and gold and onyx. It is, as I said before, we don't see any evidence of cracking or ruination. It is perfectly secure and strong. However, it does exude a feeling of immense age, the way an ancient ruin might. You step into the main cathedral. Johann escorts you in, and you find yourself in the midst of a celebration. There are dead souls everywhere, and also some living ones. seem to mingle freely among each other. There are some that you suspect are actually residents. When I say some, I mean some living souls that you think could potentially be residents here, like Kella. Then there are some that are clearly travelers, just passing through, or bold enough to journey here for this singular evening of reverence, just to be here to see what it's like. There are ballads being sung and played in many different languages, echoing off of the walls as you venture in further. You can see in the distance the grand throne room that you first met with Ashlyn here when you were giving your report about your chase after Kelzir and Janos. The throne itself is magnificent. It's carved from ethereal blue bones, or it's probably more appropriate to say it's constructed out of ethereal blue bones. You see some skulls, you see some ribs, femurs, all manner of bones artfully placed together to create a macabre but truly beautiful throne. It is tall, quite large, almost seems to be reaching up, and there's a soft pulsating glow that emanates from it. All around you, as you come through, there are patio gardens that you can see through large windows leading off of the main hall leading towards this throne. And it creates quite a exquisite juxtaposition of the somber atmosphere. Overall atmosphere of this place is very large, very austere, but it is decorated to the nines with both decorations, both constructed and also growing flower arrangements, plants, lush greenery, exotic looking flowers from perhaps realms that you have never even heard of. There's very vibrant air and feeling from both from the decorations and the greenery, and also the souls that are here. And as you are walking through this area, you see lots of artistic displays, and many that seem to be honoring various deities. Obviously, an opportunity for the more artistically minded here in Noxvalar to show off their skill, and of course, since many are looking to be either resurrected or to be sent on to their final rest, there is a great deal of deities featured in a lot of these pieces of art. However, despite all of the beauty and all of the grandeur and all of the festivities, you cannot shake the feeling that you are being constantly watched, and at every turn you see the inescapable stare of gargoyles that are perched in various strategic locations looking down on the festivities. Occasionally they move, otherwise you would think that they were just statues. But that notwithstanding, it is a party, and true to what Johan said, it appears that there is indeed all walks of life, any social status that one might be here in Noxvalar is welcome here in the Onyx Requiem. And so you see people from your neighborhood, you see people who perhaps would qualify for being more affluent in the mortal realm. As you move through, there does seem to be a sort of a natural hierarchy that has formed itself, and most of the nobility, as it were, is closer to the throne as opposed to where you are right now, which is more of the common folk. However, as you come in, there's a big deal is made of Niall's cake coming through, a truly fine offering, or not necessarily an offering, a honoring of Johan. And as you step in, there's a servant that comes forward and says, "Is it your intention to have this available for everyone, or would you prefer it to be presented at the feast?"
At the feast, and certainly for everyone. I had built it large enough to give everyone at least a small bit.
Well, you understand that the feast, when I refer to the feast, I mean the sovereign's personal banquet. Is that for that?
No. This is for the masses.
I see. Well, then if you will just follow me.
Oh.
And leads you to an area where there is food that has been laid out for noshing on as people mingle. And he looks at you. Do you wish to serve it yourself? I have a keen eye for artistry, and I would be happy to help you, let you mingle around, but if you wish to stand by your work, I will certainly understand.
Thank you. I would be honored.
Very well. And you stand by your cake, serving out bits and pieces to it as people walk by. The
I
rest of you
do
use-
hope to have Johan take a look at it before I.
Yes,
before
and
I
he
cut
does.
into it.
He looks at it and he says, "Oh well, it's been a long time since I've cried, but if I could, I think a tear'd be falling right now. This is truly special. You honor me."
You did the same for us, Johan. I'm sorry. I was a bit coarse when we met, but I am grateful for you.
Thank you. It means a lot that you say that. And just between you and I, you are not even close to the most coarse individual I've had to shepherd. So,
Well, I'll have to work on that then.
as he takes a piece of the cake, he says, I need to go find a bucket or another plate or something. Excuse
Yes.
me. And
Yes, of course.
sorry, try to figure out a way to eat this cake without it falling on the floor. You see some individuals walking around, and occasionally you get the impression that a couple of them are trying to get your eye, any number of you. Do you wish to mingle, or do you wish to stay mostly with yourselves?
I'm gonna stay with the cake, but if anybody,
I'm
if there are
mingling.
any, are there any gargoyles that come to eat? Do they eat?
You do not see any gargoyles come and mingle. The gargoyles that are here are apparently all Nixian guard, and they are on alert.
Okay. Is there anybody in particular who comes to get a piece of cake that is trying to initiate conversation?
Yes. You see a woman come up. She's actually an adolescent elf. She has very dark skin and tightly braided white hair. She's dressed all in blacks and purples, and a couple of adornments that have spider or web themes. And her eyeshadow is extremely bold and bright gold.
Well,
She comes forward and looks at you and says, "Did you make this?"
I did indeed. Don't you look lovely?
That's kind of you to say. My name is Elise Martingale. I'm with House of the Sovereign.
Ah,
You
I
are
see.
Niall Phelan Caldwell, are you not?
I am indeed.
I have been wanting to speak with you ever since I learned that you are coming to this as the Sovereign's personal guest.
Interesting. Why? Is that so unusual here?
Well, it is not unusual for her to have guests, but let's say that they're usually people who have a bit more of note. Not that what you have done is not interesting and worthy of praise, but to only have arrived a few weeks ago and yet already be on first name basis with the sovereigns. But that's not usual.
Just by chance, I assure you. A mere luck of the draw, so to speak.
I wonder if you could help me.
Help you with what exactly?
I am trying to acquire something. A journal. It is in the Sovereign's possession. It has been lost, I've heard. I would very much like to know of its whereabouts. And, well, not necessarily for the journal itself, but for what it might contain. then perhaps you might have the answer yourself. Ashlyn is, the Sovereign is, I think you're probably aware by now, a cleric of some power. You don't happen to know what her deity is, do you?
We've spoken but twice.
Ah. Well, you strike me as a person who is very good at finding out information. Do you think that you could help me by either finding, or at least looking for this journal, or barring that, learning in the name of the Sovereign's deity? I would be willing to compensate you with a favor of my own.
I am not in need of favor, but if you'd like, I could certainly tell the Sovereign that you're looking for her, and you can ask her yourself.
Well, as it is the Sovereign's private journal, while I'm sure she would be happy to have it returned, knowing that others are looking for it would probably not be something she'd be happy about, but... Is that a no, then?
I don't know you. I don't know who you represent. I don't know who you are. The notion that I would do something on your behalf without knowledge of your motivations or background is nothing short of laughable. I would be careful who you ask favors of in the future.
Well, perhaps the fact that I was so forward was a form of a test to find out if you were the sort of person who would go about undertaking a task for someone you just met.
I hope I failed.
The cake is delicious, and I look forward to speaking with you again.
And I will watch her walk away, but I will take note of every detail I possibly can as she leaves.
Did I see that exchange?
It's possible. Very good. Was there any sort of a check that you wanted to make there?
I would probably do, I mean, this is not in my skill set, but I would do an insight check.
Sure, run right ahead.
That is a nice fat clunk of the die. I rolled a natural 1.
Well, a deeply, deeply inscrutable woman, full of mystery and enigma.
Or I'm just full of ineptitude and stupidity. But
well, there's always that.
Well, but you make a damn good cake.
So yes, indeed, if it was not an overt display, but it was a conversation between your friend and an obvious drow.
Mm-hmm. All right, I'm gonna flutter over to Niall and be like, "You good?"
I suppose that remains to be seen.
All right. Hey, what's that on your shirt?
And I will look down and
fly off.
So the hurt that caused you, I'm like, oh.
Don't think for a moment I don't know what that silver word means,
Yeah.
motherfucker.
I don't know what you're talking about.
I'm sure you don't.
I would like to be not so much as mingling, kind of coldly mingling, but trying to eavesdrop over other people's conversations.
Mingling.
God, I want that visual so bad.
Pleasure to meet you.
She's the Daria of the ballroom. It's amazing.
100%.
So you see, you're able to overhear quite a few conversations, and you do get an impression that there is nobody's overtly staring at you, but you do seem to be a topic of conversation. The most boisterous person in the entire room is a very large Goliath, a gray-skinned, giant-kin creature with numerous faded tattoos. An older Goliath with an enormous belly and numerous double chins, although you still see some muscle on him, and he is enjoying himself immensely.
Is he talking about anything interesting?
Make a perception check.
Oh, I'm gonna promise myself to use physical dice because
You
roll
have the
20
fancy
doesn't like
ones.
me. Yeah.
Behold!
Oh, I
Yeah,
wish.
I was gonna say that when you first arrived, you had to actively restrain.
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, come on! This
This
is
is the
perfect.
perfect place.
What was
Don't
the
help me.
persuasion?
18 plus 8.
It's 26.
26.
I'm an accountant.
Like,
Math,
Um,
my always weakness.
seriously, it is mine.
He appears to be asking people if they think it would be a good idea if he spoke to the Arbiter, Valen the Jade, who you do see mingling as well, to have a guard escort him, or at least make his presence in such a revered place here. He wishes to go to someplace called the Hall of Past Reflections. He's wondering if he could get an escort.
Interesting. Do I know anything of this place?
No, you've never heard of it.
Okay. And does he seem to be getting any sort of traction in this?
They're very some polite people who are. I wouldn't know. You should just go. It's open. And he says, "Oh, I couldn't possibly. I've never been here before, and I just don't feel comfortable walking right through the throne room. I would really appreciate if somebody else. Maybe it doesn't even have to be an official somebody else. Just somebody else go with me, so I'm not by myself." Yo? Alright, fine.
Do I see Valen?
You do. You
You
see he is clad in full night sky-colored plate mail, and he is carrying on his back a black wrought iron bastard sword that is bristling with arcane energy. People are giving him a wide berth.
Is it possible for me to approach him?
It is.
Okay, I would like to approach him.
All right, he comes.
I see the other person
step-
being super unapproachable. I'm gonna approach them.
Yeah.
There
He
it
comes
is.
over, he looks at you.
If there's a white clearance around him, that just makes it easier.
He turns and looks at you and gives you a short bow.
I bow back.
Mistress Dusk, are you
Hello.
enjoying the festivities?
Quite. It is quite an honor to have been invited. Thank you.
Well, you have the sovereign to thank. I'm sure she'll wish to speak to you, but not that it means anything, but I endorse her choice of honored guests, you and your companions.
I appreciate it. Just to ask, because I'm curious, there's this gentleman here talking about the past. Remind me, what was it? The Hall of
Oh, the
Past
Hall of Past
Reflections?
Reflections, yes.
Yes. What is that?
Oh, it is a hall that is behind the throne, in the throne room. It shows the final rest of arbiters of the past. I will take my place among them soon. Well, hopefully not too soon, but eventually.
Hopefully not too soon.
This
do people
gentleman
need-
here, Soho,
Mhm.
he's a representative of the Keepers of the Eternal Sands. You say he wishes to?
Yes, seems to be quite interested in going there, but seems to be under the impression that he should have a guard.
Well, it is a sanctified place. Not some place that we would want just anyone going, but I will see what I can do.
It is truly out of curiosity. Additionally, have you heard anything regarding the recent changes in the dying, new coming situation?
He leans forward and says, "What have you heard?"
It seems to be regarding the two camps that are, of course, outside of the city. When we went to the junction, we heard that a lot of the people that have died recently had a situation arise where there was a bunch of undead where they were.
In the living world.
Yes, in the living world, and on completely separate worlds, per se. Additionally, it seems that all of the newcomers have the same song stuck in their head, almost like it was drilled into their minds. They can't get rid of this, and that's... We didn't have this, but it seems that people who came after us do.
I would, if I were you, seek out the Sovereign. She will want to hear these things from you directly. I will say what you have discovered does confirm other reports that we have had. It is important, I think, that you and your companions know how outnumbered the Nixian God has become. Normally, it is not a problem that there are so many more souls than Nixian God, but these two armed factions that have arrived without going through the proper rites and protocols, it increases their chance of unraveling and thus poses a grave threat to the city.
Does this not happen during other times of war?
When a great number of souls arrive, yes, it does strain the capacity of the Ashen Shepherds and the Junction and the Atonement Grove, but it is overcome. The number of souls arriving now, it only seems to be increasing at an exponential rate, and so many of them not sticking to protocol, not going through the rites. It is dangerous. And this information that you have will be vital for the Sovereign to hear it, so that certain decisions can be made. Confess that while we are happy to have you here and honor you for your aid, I am certain that the main reason why she has invited you is to see what you have learned and also to get your impression, as it does seem that for whatever reason, you and your companions were the last souls to arrive before whatever this is began.
Certainly freaks me out a bit. I can only imagine.
As well it should, but enjoy the party for now. You look lovely, by the way.
Thank you so much.
I've been told to say that more often.
Well, you did a great job of it. Thank you.
Dawn actually would be mingling and being incredibly friendly. She does really well in situations like this because she actually absorbs the kind of emotional state of the people around her really well. So then she just starts like reflecting it back. So she's actually doing really well. It's like awkward, quiet moments, like just in private, like with the group the night before, that she's less, because there's less people to kind of affect her. So so she's doing really well.
And with two grumpy butts,
it would have been super awkward. So she was trying to like diffuse that, but this is great. She's feeling the vibe of everybody, so she's actually mingling with people and just enjoying the time there.
You hear a titter of laughter, and you see a group of noble men and women standing around Ashlyn. Ashlyn's wearing their usual weathered satchel over light armor, intricately woven into a well-fitting but functional dress, a royal purple color. And she is sort of nodding and has a smile on her face as whatever she has said is apparently extremely witty and is being reacted to with intense amusement by the people around her.
I would probably head over to that area and kind of attempt to insert myself into that conversation.
All right. As you come over, you see her eyes widen in genuine happiness. You see a slight smile on her face. She does seem genuinely happy to see you.
And I would do a little bow. Good evening.
I am so glad that you and your companions could make it, and may I say, I really do appreciate the style that you have shown here. This is refreshing.
They were pretty insistent about the sash, but
Of course.
yeah, it's it's an amazingly soft material. Thank you very much for the invite. We appreciate it.
You're quite welcome. You're quite welcome. Tell me about this cake. And she takes you sort of with her and begins to walk away from the other people who take their dismissal in stride. And she sort of looks over her shoulder and she says, "Oh, I do like parties, but on a more intimate scale. I think things like this are... It's a lot more dangerous than you might think."
It's easier to hide in groups of people, I guess. The dangers are... I mean... I'm generally okay in these situations, but yeah.
The Accursed Guard and the Legionnaires, these factions outside, have you had a chance to acquire any knowledge? I would hear it from another source other than the House of the Sovereign and the Pale Horseman. Trusted sources, though they are, I would appreciate a fresh perspective.
They seem to hate each other violently. I don't think a peaceful solution between the two is likely. Seems to be some sort of basis from where they're from related to warlock patrons and a disagreement about how they should function. We've also...
Do you know who their leaders are?
I believe nobody's said who their leaders are to us, but I mean, we haven't gone into their camps. We ended up at the junction, but those two that were running through the streets seemed pretty... If we could track them down, they'd probably know.
Well, they definitely are people of importance. At least that is what I have learned from my sources. But the leaders, I do not know. Wherever this cataclysmic fight is happening, apparently they have yet to clash with one another.
It sounds like Shadelands is where they're all from.
I've never heard of it.
And they have there was a ruler known as the Accursed King. And it sounds like the concern is that one group has found a way to have multiple warlock patrons, and the other group thinks that's wrong.
Where do you fall as far as that's concerned?
I mean, warlocks? I mean, I think you should dedicate yourself to one person, personally, as, most clerics do, like myself. I don't know how splitting your allegiance like that can help. Like, there would have to be some sort of connection, otherwise it would be a competing interests, I would assume. And at some point, those interests would get split, and you would have to make a choice.
That is the symbol of Savras, is it not?
Azuth.
Not Savras. Azuth.
It is, yes.
Divination deity.
Regret as well.
Oh. A powerful force. One that most people think of as negative, but somehow I get the impression that you use it for a more positive result.
I do. I think that it's how you use your emotions that's the most important. And being able to take that and turn it into a strength is what I've dedicated my life to.
Well, as a cleric of regret, may I confess something to you?
Of course.
I have a constant regret. It is the deep embarrassment I feel whenever I contemplate stepping onto a dance floor.
And yet, do you ever just do so anyway?
I do not. That is the regret.
Well,
Do you dance?
I have danced. I don't dance well, but you know what? I find that that doesn't actually hinder the joy of it.
You watch her as she scans the crowd, and you see her eyes find the dark form of Valen the Jade. And you, as well versed in it as you are, you do see a wave of regret wash over her face as her eyes pass over Valen. She turns back to you and says, "Well, perhaps next time."
I mean, nobody seems to be with him now.
I am not simply walking onto the dance floor and begin gyrating in the vain hopes that someone will join me.
Well, I'll join you. And do you know what?
Maybe
if-
if you and I are dancing, other people will
I
dance,
can
and it'll just...
Guarantee you that if Jack notices people dancing, Jack will
Did
become
someone
dance.
say gyrating? I'm here. What's up? Hello.
Yes.
Yeah.
You said the magic word.
Yes.
Generally, I found if a couple people
I have been
start it,
summoned.
more people join in. Especially people of note, of which we are.
Would you mind starting?
Sure. And Dawn would actually just fully, because she actually believes that it doesn't, her inability to dance particularly well does not hinder the joy of it. And she would go out on the dance floor and start dancing.
All right, Jack, there's music needed.
Oh my god, immediately. Yes. So seeing so actually Jack would have made his way over to the band, and so he sees this cracking up and he's just like, "Oh, I got one for this one." Immediately starts making his way around the crowd, like just eyeballs, like, "You remind me of the Babe."
What babe?
The Babe with the power.
What
The
power?
power of voodoo.
Voodoo?
You do.
Do what?
You remind me of the Babe. I saw my
Babe.
baby crying hard as babes could cry. Oh, what could I do? And
So,
just gets the whole
a
room.
well-known favorite from Faerun is begun. And there's a little nostalgia that creeps from you all. It's cakes and food and drink and music and camaraderie. All of these things, they remind you of being alive. And the fact that so much of it is probably constructed from sheer memory does make you realize how important memories are, especially in a place where all you have is time. At any rate, after about an hour, socializing, dancing, conversation begins to come to an end. Everyone invited to the special feast, the banquet, the sovereign, in the throne room, where there are tables and there are chairs and cutlery all set up. They are all overflowing with incredibly exotic foods, manifested from memory, as I said, and also somehow some imported from the land of the living, no doubt through the same means that Niall was able to get his ingredients for his cake. There is soft viola music that is playing. The music has segued from festive and dance and excitement to more of a contemplative and quiet, digestive aid. As you
it's my Spotify list, actually.
okay. The viola playing very softly, and it's a reprieve from this constant tune that now that it has been brought to your attention, it's clear that it has been in the air. It has been being sung, and even sometimes in the very stone and rush of water from the rivers that flow through Nox Valar. It is forgotten for a brief moment. The smell of a thunderstorm is wafting through this entire area. There's a little bit of a breeze. There's no rain, just the smell of a thunderstorm. And you all begin to sit, find your seats. Food is being served, and Ashlyn moves to the head of the table and reaches down and picks up a goblet of wine. And she raises it up and is clearly about to give a toast. However,
Oh, man.
before she is able to speak, there is a sudden, massive barrage of sickening green eldritch energy that blasts out all of the windows in this room, this throne room, all at once, in a cacophony of shattering glass. Shards of it fly everywhere, instantly covering the floor with treacherous spikes of razor-sharp edges. And you watch as Kelzir leaps into the room, hovering in the air, her blood-caked hair streaming behind her, two two deadly short swords in her hands, looking around with a maniacal look on her face. Her eyes lock on where Ashlyn is, and she pounces with deadly intent towards the Sovereign. And my friends, we will roll initiative.
Hell
I
yeah.
guess I'm no longer wearing my breastplate or my shield, so I should remove that armor.
Indeed. Yes, any
Oh.
armor should be removed in favor of the clothing that you currently have on.
No.
Also, if you have a weapon that would have been overt, anything larger than just a rapier or a dagger, a crossbow, anything like that, that would also likely have been left behind.
But I have my staff, right?
You do have your staff.
All
And
right.
I guess I'm still
here we
wearing
are.
my crazy brain crown.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Absolutely
suppose
wearing the
the
brain crown.
intellector, yes. The height of fashion, of course you're wearing it.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
All right. Sean,
I
what's the
already hate
over-under
it.
on the
Okay.
fact that my glamoured studded armor would still be on me? Is that probably a nay?
You know, the fact that it is glamoured, that very fact, I would say you would probably have been able to change it at the very least into the undercoat of whatever it is that you are wearing on top of it.
But of course. So,
The
I am but
half-orc woman who was trying to create your clothing was probably very confused at why things weren't measuring out quite
Yeah.
right because but
You
I'd say
can't
that yeah,
be. Yeah, exactly.
what good is glamoured armor if you can't wear it to
I mean,
a party?
right?
right?
So-
So let's roll that initiative, friends.
Roll it.
Right.
Ooh, how delightful for a fae.
What a day! What a day!
What a day, what a day. Okaloo-kalay.
I got a 12.
Oh, I should.
Yeah, let me start at the top here.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Let's see, everyone has rolled except for Jack. What have you rolled, Jack?
I rolled a math works 13. So,
Alrighty, 13.
Look, the
And
twins
then,
are twinning.
Twinning!
then I'm trying to see the map. Sean, do we exist? We do exist. No, do we exist?
Yes,
We definitely exist.
you should be there. Are you not able to see the map?
I can only see names, like names and health bars currently. There's no visual, like, my map is all dark except for the nameplates.
Interesting. Try refreshing. I think that might solve the problem.
Well, how refreshing. Let's try that.
And while you're doing that, I'll bring out a new token that could perhaps fix it as well.
I cast allergies.
Yeah. There it goes. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Jack,
this looks far
for
more
some
convenient.
reason, and I'm sure it's a technical one. I'm not seeing your HP. Can you tell me what your current HP is? It's not connected to.
Let's see. Did we long rest?
programs. You did, yes.
Okay, good. 80 is my HP.
And current HP is.
Yeah.
Right, I've adjusted that manually.
Everyone has 80 except me.
Yeah, whose fault is
Yeah,
that?
story checks out.
I mean, I think my health is cooler.
All right. I think that's all we need at the top of the order. We do have Kelzier, who goes first with a 19. Valen after her with a 13.1. Jack with a 13. Niall with a 12. Dawn and Dusk with 6s. Kelzier launches herself at Ashlyn. She, interesting. There are two Jacks on the screen.
I was going to say,
God help
which
us.
one
Double
is
trouble.
real? One Jack tells the truth, and the other one lies.
All right.
Oh God.
We fixed that problem.
Oh, damn it.
So Kelzier launches herself. She is under the effects of some sort of flying magic. You don't see any wings or anything like that, but she speeds across the tables over the heads of all of the other individuals. And of course, not pictured here, but all of the other seats in this area are filled with horrified guests who are as surprised and shocked as the rest of you. The Kelzier moves towards Ashlyn and is going to attack her. She attacks her first with her short swords. That first attack is a natural 1.
Yay.
Love that. Good.
Actually.
Love that. Keep that going.
So that is a miss. However, the second one is definitely a hit. And you watch as the blade enters into Ashlyn's armor. She gasps in surprise, still not quite registering the fact of what is happening. And she takes 12 points of slashing and even more necrotic damage. She lets out a gasp of pain. After that attack, Kelzier is going to just continue attacking. She makes another attack that is also a hit.
I am going to shout. I'm just going to cry out in a wolf howl, and I will cast Silvery Barbs on that second hit.
All right, Kelzier looks towards you, attacking again, almost not even looking, as she makes another attack, according to your spell. Still manages to hit, however, and so...
I'm going to use cutting words then.
which, remind me, which one that does is a minus...
So that's going to be, so I use a
D10,
Bardic
yeah,
Inspiration die to reduce the attack roll. So it'll be a D10.
Okay.
Don't mind if I do. Keeping the sovereign alive. That's going to be a 10 subtracted from the roll.
10. It still hits.
Mother, are you
unfortunately,
kidding me?
as,
Wow.
The attack that was made incredibly high die roll. And you watch as Ashlyn crumples to the ground. Before standing up, you see blood pouring from wounds on her body. She looks extremely hurt.
And that's a 10 off the lower of the two rolls, right, John?
Indeed. Well,
Okay.
yes. I rolled again.
Okay.
It wasn't actually the lower of the two rolls with Silvery Barbs. You just roll again.
You take the lower of the two with Silvery Barbs.
Oh, that's right. It still would have. Sorry. It still would have hit.
Okay, okay.
I'm rolling in the 30s.
Absurd.
With that attack, Ashlyn gasps and looks mortally wounded. Valen lets out a primal cry of rage as Ashlyn has nearly been slain by Kelzier this single round. She looks barely able to stand. It is Kelzier's turn. Brings us to Valen.
I will give my advantage to Valen from Silvery
right.
Barbs.
Valen leaps forward. As he does, his hands begin to glow, and he reaches Ashlyn's side, grabs her hand, and transfers power into her as he uses a healing touch, and you see some of Ashlyn's strength return. Kelsier looks it down and says, "Oh, that is so precious. A sacrifice that I have heard about but never actually experienced myself. I really would love a touch like that goodbye." That is Valen's turn. Brings us to Niall.
Okay, I am going to run forward 30 feet. I'm going to use my bonus action to dash and get around, put myself in between Kelsier and Ashlyn, and I will just reach my hand behind myself, touch Ashlyn, and cast invisibility.
Oh, interesting. You are concentrating on invisibility. And Ashlyn disappears from sight. As you do that, she looks at you and says, "Wait a minute, I remember you. You were that person who yelled something about my family tree. That was hilarious."
Thank you. That's it. That's all. That's the end of my turn.
So you're concentrating. That's not the right token for concentration. There we go. You're concentrating on invisibility. Ashlyn turns invisible. Very good. And you say that is your turn?
That is the end of my turn. I movement, bonus action, dash, action, casting invisibility. That's my whole turn.
All right. Kelsier looks at you and says, "Oh, it's so cute. My lord, if you would be so kind," she says out loud, as she uses a reaction to call the king, or call of the king. And from outside, their source unseen, blasts of eldritch power woven together to create massive bolts of energy come streaking across the sky from an impossible distance. You can't even see where the sources are coming as they send these bolts down, sniping perfectly into this room, and you are struck, Niall.
Okay.
I have a 14 to hit.
That is a miss.
I have a 24 to hit.
That absolutely hits.
I have a 17 to hit.
That hits.
And I have a dirty 20 to hit.
All three of those hit.
3 of those hit. As each one of these bolts of force hits you, you recall the massive bolt of power that you encountered when you were fighting Yanthazel, and the other legionnaires were with her. Sorry, not legionnaires, cursed guard. The bolts strike you. You take 102 points of damage.
I am Ash.
As each of these bolts strike you, you watch as Niall's form is annihilated. He is blown to pieces. Before the body parts even have a chance to bleed, they all disintegrate into ash, scattering all over the feast. Visibility drops.
The fuck?
Wasn't Jack supposed
No.
to go before Niall?
I was gonna say, but right now I'm just
Now I'm like,
horrified.
It's like,
What's
wait a
happening?
second.
Did we get the initiative wrong?
Jack's not
well.
in the
I'll tell
initiative
you
right
what-
now. He's missing.
Oh, that's right, because we took him away. I tell you what, Jack, I am going to arbitrarily change your initiative to after Niles, just to keep things in the right order.
That's so much damage.
That's a lot of damage.
It
That's
is indeed.
a lot of damage.
And you realize the forces which you have arrayed against you. So Niall has been destroyed. Brings us to Jack.
You mean annihilated? Sorry. Couldn't help myself. I'm so sorry. I hate myself for
I
that.
thought you were our friend.
Oh, that hurts.
Oh
I'm
my
so
god.
sorry. I want to be better, but I'm not.
Emotional.
No, like literally, he sees like he gets blasted apart. He's like, baloney!
Jack,
All right.
what do you do on your turn?
Oh, you stupid bastard. Yeah. Okay. So as she starts this whole like, my lord, blah 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 blah, like he sees this, and then like you suddenly again like that arcane energy. He pulls his hand back, and as he pulls his hand back, he throws it forward, and again it enlarges into this giant owl's talon as it encloses around Kelzir, and I'm going to cast Big B's hand, Grasping Hand.
Bigby's grasping hand. Very well.
Mm-hmm. So the hand attempts to do a grapple a huge or smaller creature within 5 feet of it. So there's summon the hand right next to Kelzir, and then I'm gonna use that hand strength to resolve this here grapple.
It is there. Unfortunately, the graphic for the Bigby's hand
It
blends
matches
in
the exact
beautifully.
color of
Yes,
the tile. Yeah.
indeed. Very well done, Jack. Nice aesthetic choice there.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, so gonna attempt to grapple this target here. So I believe. So I've got a. So it's roll the d20. That's a crit. Nat 20 on that grapple.
Oh my!
With
So,
a plus 8 is 28 for the grapple. check.
28 points of. Is there damage or is it just the hand? It's just
Oh
the
yeah.
grab.
So and then let's also
Yeah.
add that beautiful grapple damage, shall we? So with the grasping hand, you take bludgeoning damage, 2d6 plus my spell casting ability modifier, which is a plus 4. So that would be
4d6.
what? So do I double 4d6? Let's do it. Okay. So it's gonna be 13 points of damage
Alrighty.
from that grasp.
So as the grasping hand comes and attacks Kelzir, you see that around her there is a swirling distortion in the air, and there's a little bit of a reddish tinge to it, as she seems to be surrounded by some sort of energy or force field, or perhaps even souls, as you seem to catch a glimpse of horrified faces every now and then moving around her. She's just completely surrounded by this, and as such, she's immune to critical hits. So
Really?
you cannot do the critical damage, but the natural 20 does hit.
All right. Wait. So then should I?
Just go, whatever the first roll of damage was.
Oh,
He rolled all 4 dice
so
at the
that-
same time.
rolled all 4
Alright,
dice.
so what were the first two 4 dice? What were the first two dice?
A 6 and a 2, so 8.
So an 8.
Plus the 4.
And then you add your 4
plus
to that.
8 plus
So
4.
total of 12.
So 12.
So total of 12. And just the hit alone
Thanks, Don.
means she is grappled, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah, so the hand comes, grabs it. You watch as it tries to crush around this shroud of souls, it appears to be around her. And it contains her enough so that you actually do see her. The shroud of souls seems to compress a little bit on her. So it's
Okay.
actually the shroud of souls that is holding her in place, and the Bigby's hand is around the outside of it. And she looks at it and, well, that's rather large. Anything else, Jack?
I think. Yeah. No. So I can't have the hand move until my next turn. And then DM, am I able to cast Healing Word?
Unfortunately, no. Healing Word is a leveled spell, as is Bigby's hand, and you can only cast one leveled spell per
Versus.
turn.
All right, then I will use my Bardic Inspiration. I will give a Bardic Inspiration to Aislinn. So that she,
Okay, Bardic Inspiration.
The
Ashley,
Sovereign.
Very good.
and then I will go ahead and take flight. I'm trying to get myself above the broken windows, so I'll take it to my full height of 30 feet up into the air. And then I'll shout back to my compatriots, take cover!
All right, that's Jack's turn. At the end of your turn, I think she will do a legendary action.
A what?
A legendary action, is what I said. You watch as she concentrates a moment, and she sort of seems to contract down in amongst herself, and there's a glow from the red souls around her, and you watch as some of them appear to be absorbed into her, and as the absorption concludes, her eyes open red and blazing, and she seems to expand. Bigby's hand opens up a little bit. It's still holding her, but you see her standing there, this shroud going on, completely uninhibited, as the hand is just on the outside of her. She's just reveling in the power as this swirl of souls begins to move faster and faster and faster around her, her eyes blazing red. She opens up her mouth. You can see that there's red coming from within her as well, as she lets out a cackle, and instead of just her voice, you hear the voices of dozens and dozens of others layered one after the other on top of her. It sounds almost as if you're dealing with not just her, but all of these souls that are surrounding her as well. That is Jack's action and movement, and her legendary action brings us to Dawn.
So clarifying, Sean, did she break out of the grapple, or does Bigby's hand still have her?
Bigby's hand, she does appear to still be grappled.
Okay,
She seems
okay.
completely unconcerned.
Yeah, she's unperturbed.
Yes.
But
Okay. Okay. Seeing what just happened to Niall and what's kind of going on with her, I am starting to think that this is a little above our pay grade, and that Ashlyn and Valen are our best chances. So I am going to use my 6th level spell, and I'm going to cast Heal at Ashlyn. And she's going to regain 70
All right.
hit points.
Regains 70 hit points indeed.
She's also not on the initiative.
It's all right.
I was like, I was like, no, it's not. I need her to do something.
don't you worry about it. It's like, oh, wait.
Ashlyn's turn is at the very
Okay,
end.
yeah, so I'm going to cast Heal to kind of get her as healthy as I can in one shot. And then I can't, all my other things are spells, so I don't have a bonus action I can do. And I'm just going to get one step closer to Dusk, and I'm just going to hang out here. I don't want to get closer to that lady. She's mean.
Probably smart.
Alrighty.
Yeah.
That's going to bring us to Dusk.
Okay, so I would like to do Divine Wrath.
Okay. What does that look like?
So it usually looks just like these little souls, little whites flying out from her into the enemy. But I think the longer we've been here, the more dusty and more kind of shapeless they have become. So it's almost like a melting into ash ghost coming out of her and flying into her enemies.
Right. Cool.
Okay, so
Is there any sound that accompanies this?
it's probably just like a whooshing or almost like a whisper.
Okay.
So it's 8, 23. Ooh, that was a good roll.
Oh wow! Holy crap!
Yeah.
Nice.
And then as a
So a total
bonus,
of 23 on that.
yeah. And then as a bonus action, I would like to use my 3rd tier Aspect of Death ability. So
You're
as
so
a bonus
badass.
as a bonus action, I'm forcing a creature that I can see within 60 feet to succeed on a charisma saving throw.
All right. A charisma saving throw. She has rolled a 19.
Damn it. Someday I'm gonna curse someone.
Gotta make sure they're not like level 50 creatures.
Level 50 murder bots.
Yeah, right?
100.
And I'm gonna stay where I am, but I am going to like hold my staff to the side, and I'm gonna be trying to kind of like shield Dawn out of sight, like just like Atlas is doing with my face.
Right.
But don't shield her with your butthole. That's not effective.
It's not. It really.
Why
isn't.
did you
No
put
one
that flap in
appreciates
this dress?
For convenience, this is a very tight-fitting dress.
All right. Ashlyn stands and is going to. Let's see here. She is now has recovered from her shock, and she is going to, at point-blank range, fire a blast of divine wrath of her own at Kelsier.
What does hers look like?
It, in her hands, you see her face contort in rage, and once again, her skin and her hair begins to glow. That glow manifests to a light almost too bright for you all to see, as then she takes it and he watches the light leaves her skin, leaves her hair, and coalesces in her hands into a ball of flame. She just blasts it right in Kelsier's face. Fortunately, he's at disadvantage because she's so close. So that is an 18. Kelsier is able to dodge it. Oh,
She
that
has
is
bardic
Ashlyn's.
inspiration.
Oh, that's right. She would definitely use her bardic inspiration, a D10. Adding 3 so that 18 becomes a 21, which will hit Kelsier. So she does 32 points of fire damage. However, you watch as the fire is absorbed by the souls that are swirling around Kelsier. She seems to be protected by them, although they do seem to take the damage.
Did the same kind of thing happen from mine?
Yes, all the damage that Kelsier has taken, it seems to be being absorbed by these souls. However, it doesn't seem to be unlimited. There is you see flashes of energy being expended, and a feeling of impact and damage done to the shield around Kelsier. That is going to bring us back to Kelsier's turn. Kelsier looks up with her eyes at you, Jack, and she sends a chain from her gauntlet shooting up into the air. It streaks across the entire space right up to where you are, and hits AC 29.
Miss.
Yeah,
I think not.
well, but this isn't.
The chain.
Is this a spell, DM, or like,
This is an attack.
This is an attack. Okay. Yeah. That's
The chain rises up, doing 12 points of piercing damage as it wraps around your body, crushing your wings to yourself. Go ahead and make a Constitution saving throw.
don't mind if I do. Just a saving throw.
Mm-hmm.
Lovely. That will be 16 plus 2 is 18.
You hold on to Bigby's hand. And
Hold
the
my
chain
hand.
as it wraps around you. I need you to make a strength saving throw, please.
Oh fuck. Okay, good. The thing I'm terrible at. 5, but wait, minus 1 is a 4.
I love the attitude. The chain retracts, dragging you down from the sky.
Oh no!
As it does, it creates a high-pitched whine. The clattering sound that it makes.
That's actually just me going.
As it's reabsorbed into her gauntlets, the sound that it makes, like metal on metal, a screeching sound that pierces your eardrums, brings you down right next to her 5 feet away, and you are prone.
Okay.
Actually, no, not prone. You're just there, but you are grappled.
Prone to being there. Got it.
So she'll put
Both
you right
grappled
here.
each other.
Yeah.
Put you right here. That is one attack. She is then going to attack you 3 more times. A 31.
Are those at disadvantage?
This would, whatever she did as her legendary action seems to be giving her a more intense focus. She is attacking as a straight roll. Why would she have advantage, though?
Oh,
Disadvantage.
because of being grappled, I thought.
Grapple does not impose disadvantage.
Oh, all right
It's
then.
restrain that imposes disadvantage. So a 31 to hit you.
Wait. I am gonna have you. I'm gonna burn a luck point and have you reroll
Okay.
that.
Very good. A 28.
Damn.
Uh,
Go ahead. That'll hit.
All right, 20 points of slashing, 22 points of necrotic damage.
Wait, so that's 42 points of damage
42
there.
points of damage.
Lovely.
Make a Constitution saving throw, please.
Ooh, okay, well, this time it's a 4. So
You lose concentration on
yeah,
Bigby's
so,
hand.
so Big B
Kelsier
drops.
is-
Yeah.
Kelsier is no longer grappled, and as such, she moves 5 feet closer to Ashlyn.
Damn it.
And is going to attack her with her last attacks. Also, make another Constitution saving throw for me, please, Jack.
Constitution.
Mhm.
All right. God, that's a 5 on that one.
The wound that you have taken from her blade continues to grow as it seems to be becoming more serious with each passing second.
Yikes.
Well, I hate that.
Attack at
It's way above our pay grade.
Ashlyn. 24 is going to hit her. 17. Okay, so she
And we just
begins
left.
to take damage. And then, as an afterthought, she turns back to you, Jack. It's going to make another attack against you.
Alright.
That is going to be a 34 to hit.
Me burn another luck point.
All right, I'll roll again.
I don't think she can.
31 to hit you.
Damn it.
Yeah, don't waste your
I don't
luck.
think she
Yeah,
can
yeah,
roll
okay.
low. I think she's got like a plus
Yeah.
25.
All right, so I'll take that hit, but
It's not plus 25, but it is very
It's up there.
powerful.
I'm sure it's up there.
that would be absurd.
14 points of slashing and 20 necrotic. Another Constitution saving throw, please.
Hang on a second. So do that math for me real quick. 14.
34.
Oh, good. Only 4 hit points left, friends. All right, great.
Now's the time for that luck point on this
Yeah,
fucking
no
saving
shit.
throw.
And then what was the? I'm sorry, Sean. What was the thing you want me to do?
A Constitution saving throw.
Another Constitution saving throw. Alrighty. Con save. Is a con. Okay. I'm gonna. Oh, can I burn my luck point on that one?
You have
Okay.
one left.
I have 1 left, right? Attack roll, ability check, or saving throw. Yep, nope, we'll do that. I'll burn my last one. Do better. Not better. So that's gonna be a 9.
So that is another grievous wound that has been applied to you as that wound continues to grow.
All right, so 2 grievous wounds is what we're talking
Yes.
about. In what does that mean?
At the end of your turn, however, at the end of her turn, Jack Kelsier looks down at you and smiles as the Bigby's hand dissipates around her. She steps forward. Her blade still in one blade still in Ashlyn, one blade in you. She brings them both back, spins them. Your blood splattering all over the feast in front of you, and she calls out, "Dorian, my king, a small sacrifice for you." And she lifts up her wrist, and the chain pulls you up in the air. She swings it around and throws you out the window. As soon as you appear outside the window, eldritch blasts come from all corners as you get a look and see that the Onyx Requiem is surrounded by warlocks, fighting Nixian guards who seem to be under some sort of curse that has frozen them in place. You see bodies of Nixian guards falling, crumbling, being destroyed by these eldritch blasts, but there are more than enough. You see a dozen, 2 dozen, 3 dozen, more than you can count, converging upon you, Jack. And your world explodes in green.
Dusk,
light.
dawn, rah!
And you are dusted. That is going to bring us to Valen, who steps forward and drags Ashlyn away from Kelsier. As he does, he lets forth another expenditure of power, and some of Ashlyn's wounds close, but you see that she also has endured some of these grievous wounds.
I would like to use. Yes, as a reaction. Okay, I would like to use Miracle Worker on that healing on Ashlyn.
Okay.
I would like to roll 4 divinity dice.
Okay.
Oops, roll 4d8. So she gains an additional 24 hit points.
Right. Ashlyn appears to be at maximum health, although she does still possess these wounds that continue to grow on her body and bleed even as she stands there being healed.
Okay.
That is your reaction. That's going to bring us to Dawn.
Yeah.
Yeah, what do we do?
I'm going to cast.
We die.
I'm gonna cast Guardian of Faith.
All right.
Next to Valen and Ashlyn to try to attack
Very good.
Kelsier.
A spiritual form appears. What does this look like as you cast it, and what does the actual guardian look like?
I'm just going to kind of move my hands in a circle, and light will kind of gather in my hands, and then I'll just hold them out, and it'll kind of extend out, and as it extends, it'll grow and turn into a large spectral being, a female wearing armor and wielding a staff. And
All right.
she will just stand there stoic and ready to attack.
All right. Brings us to Dusk. Is that a concentration spell, Dawn? Remind me.
That is not a concentration spell.
All right.
Oh,
Gotcha.
good.
Okay. So I would like to.
Doggo!
So cute. I would like to trigger my Spark of Godhood.
Ooh. Describe
So-
what that looks like.
You would hear this as if you had recording glass cracking, but backwards. So almost sounds like something's coming into being from
Ooh.
a broken state. With a glow of gold right over her heart, over her, the central cavity here. And then it veins out and starts to turn into this very dark teal greenish color as this almost like floating skull ghosts are now floating around her, just moving around slowly.
Very
and she
cool.
lifts off the ground.
Yes, rising off the ground by a small, just an inch off the ground, as you activate this shard of godhood that you possess and absorb some of this divine power and use it for your own use. This is, for those of you watching, a feature from the class Godless, this divine spark that she has. It's incarnate. Sorry, not divine shard, divine spark. She is a godless and incarnate as she begins to unleash her power. What do you do with this divine spark?
Right now it just comes into being. It does take an action, so I can only do other things. But I would let out my voice because your voice echoes out to creatures up to 500 feet. To anyone who can speak your language and understand my words, I will say, the sovereign's in danger.
All right, there's a booming voice that echoes out from here. You actually see some of these shards of glass shake and pulverize into sand and silica from the force of this proclamation that you make with this godlike voice. However, that is your
And
action.
Yes, and then bonus action, I'm going to again do Divine Wrath.
All right.
Okay, so roll 3. So 15 damage to her.
15 damage, and this is just damage, correct? There is
No, this is the necrotic one.
This is
I
the
can't-
necrotic damage.
Yeah.
All right. As the necrotic damage begins to work upon this shroud of souls around Keltzir, you see, being spirits, this necrotic damage does not seem to do as much damage as you would normally hope. However, it does do some.
And then I would like to, with my arm, reach around and kind of try to grab any clothing or any part of Dawn that's behind me because I'm focused looking ahead of me and
So,
say,
just
what do we do?
want to check something here. Divine Wrath, that does require an attack, does it not?
Because I have a second, hold on, where is it? I have the second aspect of destruction. It allows me to use that as a bonus action.
But it does require an attack roll.
You have to hit her.
Oh, yes. Oh my gosh.
Okay.
I'm so sorry. I have that right
So
here.
you've already rolled the damage.
Oh.
Unfortunately, that damage
Oof.
does not come into play
Yeah.
because what did you roll for your attack?
9.
Yeah, okay. Sorry.
That was my fault. I forgot.
Yep, no problem. It's a stressful situation, I understand. Brings us to Ashlyn. Ashlyn looks back to you. Let's see here. Was that 2 actions you took?
Action and a bonus action.
An action and a bonus action. So this aspect of destruction allows you to make that attack as a bonus action.
Yes.
The divine
Calling upon the
spark of godhood.
spark
that
of
was your
godhood is
action.
yeah.
Gotcha. All right. Thank you. Keltzir. Sorry, not Keltzir. Ashlyn. Now that Valen has moved in front of her, takes another step back and summons another blast of divine power. But as she does, you could see the wounds on her body open up, and she gasps as she seems to take damage at the beginning of her turn from all of the wounds that she has suffered from Keltzir. Let's see, her divine blast of power. She is not doing well. That is going to
Surprise.
miss.
Join the
unfortunately.
club.
What are the
Right.
chances?
Keltzir looks around at the glass and the booming voice, the power that you have showed yourself and revealed this godlike power. She looks at you and cocks ahead and sends out a chain towards you as well, Dusk.
She not.
22 to hit you, Dusk.
That hits.
All right. She brings you forward right next to her, and she looks at you. She says, "Finally, someone who has some real power. Let's see how you do, shall we?" 14 points of piercing. Actually, before she pulls you towards you, you need to make a strength saving throw.
You got
We're
this.
such a strong group physically, so
Double. I rolled a 5.
All right, so you are brought back to her. Another hideous, ringing squeal of metal on metal as she brings you past. As she brings you towards her, you actually lifted up off of your feet, brought across the table, smashing through cutlery and plates across tureens of food that go flying everywhere. She just ratchets you forward across the
Oh my god.
the banquet, away from Dawn. And Dawn, you know what's coming.
As I am being dragged away, I am trying to look to Dawn and run.
can't.
She attacks you. 35 to hit. 14 points of slashing, 13 points of necrotic. Make a Constitution saving throw, please.
Okay. I'm sorry. Which one was it?
Con save.
Con save. Ooh, nat 20.
Natural 20. You do not
Nice.
suffer a grievous wound.
Okay.
Third attack. 36 to hit.
Oh my god.
21 points of slashing, 15 points of necrotic.
How much HP does Dusk have?
I'm down.
Oh,
You were brought to
poof.
0?
Yeah.
All right. So actually, as that final attack comes, Ashlyn reaches out a hand and says, "No!" And power exudes from her hand as the damage that you watch Dusk taking travels along a beam of light moving from Dusk, and you watch as the wound appears on Ashlyn instead. So Ashlyn takes that 36 points of damage instead of you, Dusk. However, Kelsier still has one attack left, and she hits AC 23. That's going to be 13 points of slashing and 22 points of necrotic.
Yeah, I'm down.
All right. As Dusk is
From dusk to dust.
yes, as the blade comes down to you, Dusk, she looks at you, brings you up, and looks at you, holding you with strength. She's not a very large person, but she has incredible strength. Whatever is fueling her seems to be beyond your comprehension. As she lifts you up, the short sword embedded in your breastbone, and holds you up and says, "Oh, not as powerful as I thought." And she swings you towards the throne, and before you reach it, your body bursts into ash, just scatters all over the throne.
Dawn screams.
That's Kelsier's 4 attacks. Valen steps away from Kelsier and goes over to Ashlyn and says, "Run, my sovereign!" And he throws her towards this throne. And you can see there's actually a opening behind it. And he pushes her another 5 feet, then turns and stands in the way of Kelsier and Ashlyn, bringing us to Dawn.
Okay. Seeing Valen trying to get her to run, and all of my friends have died in front of me. Again.
Technically, I was thrown out the window, so...
You didn't see that one.
Yeah, nobody saw that.
Dawn is going to do something stupid, and she is going to run up to Kelsier,
Okay, all right.
Do
reach forward, and upcast Repent,
Make her feel it.
and I'm going to try to hit her with an attack roll.
All right, go for it.
Come on.
I'll give you advantage on this.
Do it.
The rage that you have, or the passion that you have in you from observing what has just happened to your friends as you move across the floor, skittering across the table, the path that Dusk just took. As you slide into Kelsier's space, the swirling souls encompassing you as well. Go ahead and roll that attack.
You got this.
23 to hit.
23 is a hit.
Fuck yeah.
This is a new
Atone
spell from the Black Ballad.
or perish, and she's forced prone. And if
All
she
right.
stands up, she takes the 29 psychic damage.
Alrighty. One moment here. All right.
Hopefully that's on her, not the souls.
Got it. So 29 points of psychic damage.
As I just take all of the regret of seeing my friends dusted and my sister dusted in front of me, and I'm forcing her to her knees to atone
you
for it.
put your hands into the soul shroud that is around Kelsier and reach for rage in your heart and in your mind, and as your hands are just about to make contact with her actual flesh, they stop, she is protected by this soul shroud. You say a tone and send forth this power, and you can feel and hear the souls that are around her scream in agony as many of them are destroyed by this psychic energy. Kelzir looks at you and raises an eyebrow, and despite herself, falls to her knees. However, you do not see a single wound on her body, nor any evidence that she has taken any damage.
And I'm just gonna look back.
She looks at you.
And just say, run. And
That
I go.
brings us to, all right, brings us to Ashlyn. She looks at you. I will not forsake my oath. And she sends another blast of power towards Kelzir. Is going to hit with 22. She does 51 points of fire damage, and the Shroud of Souls that is around Kelzir finally, with sound of thunder and ripping and screaming and agony, disappears. But she is still standing.
And we win,
Of course she is.
right?
At the end
And
of
everybody
this
comes
round,
back and everything's fine.
Right?
At the end of this round, Kelzir looks at you, Dusk,
Dawn.
and says, sorry, looks at you, Dawn, and says, fine. She takes her short sword, sticks it into her own body. There is no blood that comes out, but you watch as she winces and rises up with intensity. You see fangs extend from her incisors like a vampire, and her eyes glow with a pale red light. And she makes 2 extra attacks this round.
Oh no.
Of course she does. Of course she
Wait.
does.
Wait.
Of course,
That's
yeah.
6
Yep.
attacks.
So yeah, for a total of 6, Sean. Just double checking, DM. For a total of 6.
Total
At
of
what
6.
point did you feel like you still had hope, my love?
I didn't think I had hope, but I wasn't expecting 6 attacks.
Well,
Insult to
so it's
injury,
2
man.
attacks at the end of this round. So 19. Is the 19 hit?
Me? Yeah.
Yes.
We
16
don't have
slashing.
our armor.
16 slashing, 16 necrotic. Make a Constitution saving throw.
I believe.
19.
I believe.
19, you do not suffer a grievous wound.
Hooray!
She makes her second attack. 27 to hit. 17 points of slashing, 17 points of necrotic. And now it is her turn.
And now it is her turn.
Oh my god.
I fucking can't. man.
Natural 1.
That'll actually miss me.
Okay.
Like you're
Wow.
doing us a
Attack.
favor, Sean. Fuck all the way off.
You know what?
Just gotta roll 4 more
It
of
is a-
those. Yeah.
All of you are aware that whatever is transpired here in
Just way above our pay grade.
the Sunless Crossing, it is a threat on a scale that you have never encountered. These are the thoughts that move through your heads as you are slain. 31 to hit, 20 points
I'm
of
gone.
slashing, 16 points of necrotic. As the final member of this brave adventuring party is slain, you hear a soft cry of grief and horror from Ashlyn as the blade enters your body, pulls out, and you feel your body disintegrate into nothing.
Oh my god.
You find yourself in darkness. However, when you strain to look for this light that that you saw before, this golden moat of liquid that was so comforting in the darkness, that came and enveloped you and brought you to the afterlife. You don't see anything. Utter, unending, totally inscrutable darkness that goes on and on as you feel panic begin to well within you. This could be all there is. Darkness. An awareness of self in utter darkness for eternity. The longer it goes on, the more you become convinced that that is the case. And you can feel the darkness pulling at you, absorbing you, ripping you apart, thought by thought, diffusing your form into utter annihilation. However, just at the point of winking out of existence, you watch as the darkness begins to change from shadow to umber to blood red to violent neon red, a burning, a pulsing, a flame. And suddenly, you find yourself feeling again. Something is dreadfully wrong, but you feel your limbs, you feel your core, you feel your legs. Your eyes are closed. Why won't they open? Through a sheer force of will, you open your lids, almost as if they have not been opened in days, if not years. And you live. It only takes a moment for you to realize that the hands that you are looking at are not the ones you remember. They are desiccated, claw-like, fingernails black, flesh gray and rotting. You look down at your torso and see the ribs. You see entrails hanging out, still being gnawed upon by insects and vermin. Any armor or clothing that you are wearing is rotted away. As you put your hand on your face and realize that there's barely any flesh there at all. And with horror, you bring your hands up to your eyes and realize that all that is there is empty sockets that you are somehow still able to see through. You stumble to your feet. You look around and see 3 others that look exactly as you do. What do you do?
Can I speak?
As you go to make a sound, there's a and a massive wad of putrid pus rolls out of your mouth and falls onto the ground with a splat. You are able to speak, Dusk, but I would appreciate it if you would do it as one who has not spoken for a very long time and has mostly rotted vocal folds.
Dawn. I try to move, like getting up.
Stand up. As you stand up off of the ground, part of your skin and viscera stick to the ground as you just rise up, An undead corpse. All of you. Hideous monsters. I don't know where you are. It's a dark cavern. There's something familiar about it.
You said there were 3 others besides
Total of
us?
4, so you and 3 others. So your group.
Okay, it's our group. Okay.
You said the cavern seems familiar.
Mm-hmm.
Can I
what?
look around to see if I can recognize it? Like, or figure it out?
Make a perception check.
Can I help?
I rolled a 14.
A 14. There are numerous bodies here. The last time you saw this many bodies together was when you first entered into the catacombs beneath Castle Never. And you look around and see that that is exactly where you are.
Oh no.
Oh, fuck.
As you all coming to this realization, there is a nearby pit. You will recall there was a trap that you triggered. Nobody actually fell down into it, but there was a trap door just within your entrance into these catacombs. You look down and you can hear movement from down within it.
I will lurch over in that
Is
direction.
Niall like a humanoid-looking undead thing?
Yes, as you look
yeah.
around the group,
yeah.
each
Hey,
one of you
good question.
are hideous. It becomes very apparent that you are not inhabiting your original bodies. These are the bodies of people who have been here and rotted for a very long time.
Oh.
God,
Do
am
we
I-
see our own? Do we see our own corpses?
Not in immediate view.
Oh God. Okay.
Wait.
We're in random undead bodies.
Oh, God, am I even...
Oh.
Yeah,
Are you tall?
Yeah,
you
am I
are
tall?
a medium-sized undead creature.
Oh.
Fuck!
Sorry I interrupted you, Niall. You were gonna...
I know I'm gonna lurch over to the pit
Right.
to see if I can see what's moving down there.
You lurch to the side. You recall the pit at the bottom is lined with spikes, and you look down there and you see a form clad in chainmail with a spike right through its chest, writhing back and forth, and slowly stops and looks up at you, Niall, and you hear a voice emerge from it. And despite its appearance, you recognize it.
It's you. It's you, isn't it? It's me. It's Win. Get me out of here. Gods, get me out.
And once again, the party is reunited
Ugh.
with their lost member.
Oh, I hate everything.
How do we get excited about
I know, we're all dead.
And
but boo.
We're all
my
de-
friends,
We're deader than dead.
with that, we will bring this adventure, this exploration, this gathering of good friends.
I've got a
in
bone to pick with you,
difficult
Sean.
situations.
Did not
What
find
a-
this humorous
To
in the
an end.
least.
What a reunion.
Indeed. My friends, this has been amazing. For those of you who've watched, I hope you've enjoyed it. We certainly enjoyed doing it. This is the final episode of Severed Threads Notes from the Black Ballad.
Oh my
But
God.
cliffhanger!
Yes, indeed. The Black Ballad, of course, written by Storytellers Forge, this
What the
amazing module.
Oh my God.
We're very thankful for their help. Just get it all out. Come on, get it all out. We're very thankful for their support, as well as the support of Diamorte, who has written all the music you're listening to. We appreciate Kai, who did our fantastic character art, and we want to remind you that if you want to know more about the Black Ballad, you should definitely check out the backer kit campaign that Storytellers Forge currently has going on, as you will be able to help them produce some more novels, a heavy metal album version of a lot of this music. The books is called Chronicles of the Crossing, a whole number of things being funded by this backer kit. You should definitely check it out. That link is in the chat right now. And if you want cool stuff, you should check out the Storytellers Forge Discord and mention this thread, and they will put you in a drawing to win some cool stuff. And if you like dice, not just any dice, amazing labradorite dice from your wizard, pictured here. Ooh.
It's so fancy.
You should definitely go to my Discord and mention Severed Threads and be put into a giveaway for those. The links to both of those Discords are in the chat. If you like actual plays like this and would like more of them, then please check out Echoes of Kryn. You can find them at www.echoesofkryn.com or any podcast app. A fantastic actual play podcast that Samus and I participate in. I think you'll like it. Definitely check it out. And if you are looking for a professional dungeon master or a D&D experience, you should definitely come to my Discord and talk to me, as I am a DM for hire, and I would love to meet you and run a game for you. I think that is everything. Does anybody have anything left to say?
We started
Before
with a
we-
TPK and we ended with a TPK.
And then let me say, as I can feel it beginning to go, it lasted the entire session, but I feel it, it's about to go. I'm going to see it. We should all Sally Flaw. Sally Flaw. Sally Flaw.
Buckle up, bonehead. You're going for a ride.
Oh, no.
This has been a blast. Goodbye, everybody, and we'll see you next time, if there is one.